and now we can go on other vacations and not have to worry about money spent on a timeshare.
Time changes everything. If your timeshare benefits your life, go to timeshareexitteam.com.
Are you retired or planning for retirement? Retirees have lots of financial questions and need to make lots of decisions. You want to get them right. Hi, I'm Linda Gardner, host of Your Money, Your Retirement. Every Saturday on 6:30 KHAL, you're invited to attend my free retirement classes on Saturday morning, October 28th. The first class, Will Tax Mistakes Derail Your Retirement? If you've saved a lot for retirement, taxes could be your largest expense. What can you do to reduce your taxes? And the second class, 7 retirement threats and mistakes to avoid so you don't outlive your money. In these classes, I'll share important concepts and questions you need to consider to make the right decisions for your financial future. Seats are limited. Enroll now, and I'll see you on Saturday morning, October 28th. For more information, go to registercolorado.com. That's registercolorado.com, or call 720-488-8604. That's 720-488-8604.
Treat yourself to the fresh way to buffet, the Farmer's Big Buffet at Isle Casino Hotel Blackhawk, with true farm-to-table dining. Our chefs are working with area farmers and vendors like Redbird Farms and Breadworks of Boulder. Taste the difference fresh local ingredients make, and some from a bit farther away, like our all-you-can-eat crab legs served nightly at Isle Casino
Anything new, Stan?
Must 21. Any alternative?
Yeah, a few things. One, if you have a what they call sunset review on the property manager licensing law to see if that's going to continue. Construction defects was the big thing last year. They passed the bill. And then a minor other service animal things have come up. And
like what?
you know our internet service animals where they just put a label on their dog and then try to take them where a regular service animal is when they have restrictions on pets in condos.
What about it?
People bring in an emotional support dog.
Right.
And
that's not considered.
No.
That's not considered a service dog, is it?
Right, and there was just a law passed. And
law passed saying what? That they're not service dogs?
Yeah, it has to be by definition
a service dog.
Service, yeah.
Yeah, because they were trying to skate. I mean, people were calling anything an emotional support animal, and but people don't realize it's totally different than an actual service.
Yeah, it's a sham, actually.
I know it is. Well, it can be for sure.
There's a major case in Aspen right now. I forget how many thousands of dollars this guy's being fined. He bought the condo, and then when he got in, it was like $50 a day to get the animal out and all this type of thing. And it's still in court. And the fees, as you know, keep going up.
One size fits all.
When does that law take place?
Hi,
It's in there now.
Is that just for HOAs or is it for?
No. In general, it defines what a service
That's a
animal is.
suit settled there, but that's a different one probably. Introducer, okay, attorneys for both sides, so I can't, let's see. MacArthur suit accused the plaintiffs of employing delay tax and launch campaign of harassment. This might not be it, but how many of them are there in Aspen? Service dog, that's old. I see. Supreme Court sides, I'm disabled girl and fight over service dog. You know, what is it called?
It's called MacArthur.
It is MacArthur.
Yeah. Okay.
That settled in 2016. It said, I saw.
Well, I just got this in the mail last night from somebody.
Huh. I think.
Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. The Troubleshooter Show, brought to you by Referralist.com. If you go to Troubleshooter.com to listen to the show live, you can click on the Referralist logo to get to it. You can also find out useful consumer information. Our whole life is dedicated to just protecting you. Consumer protection from the liars, cheats, and ripoffs. That's it in a nutshell. Recovering hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 40 years. So welcome to the only show anywhere of its kind, anywhere, where you get direct help. And if you use Referralist.com, you not only get our direct help and guidance, of course, as you would, anyone would, but we will help you personally with your projects if you need guidance and counseling. In addition to problems, if you have any questions, you can get a hold of us as part of our referral list service. So thank you for being here. The only show, as I say, anywhere, and you can be part of it. 303-713-TALK. And we'll try to help you directly or indirectly, live on YouTube, live on Facebook, also iHeartRadio, the app, and our lovely radio station flagship, KHOW in Denver, and we have KRDO in Colorado Springs. Today, in addition to talking to everything you bring up, we have an expert on HOAs. HOAs. You know, a lot of people think I'm against HOAs. I'm not against HOAs. I think HOAs have a purpose. What I'm against are runaway HOAs, and especially what I call runaway management companies. And I'm going to talk about these runaways, either management or people. Now, it's a serious problem when you have a runaway HOA or runaway management, or both. And we can talk about that. If you ever confronted a problem at a condo, or in a, actually it doesn't have to be a condo, HOAs are in regular subdivisions. It used to be only condos and stuff like that, but HOAs are all over the place. Let's talk to Denny now, and I invite you to call. We have lines open at 303-713-TALK, 713-8255, and the number that works 24/7 is 303-MARTINO, 303-627-8466. Denny wants to talk about Samsung washing machine from Cons. What's happening, Denny?
Hi, Tom. How are you?
What's going on with you, man?
Well, my wife and I back June 25th bought a washer and dryer from Cons, Samsung.
Yeah, I love Samsung. You like it?
No.
Why?
Had horrible service.
What?
So,
Now, wait. You talking about the Samsung part of it?
Yes, sir.
What's wrong with it to begin with? What's wrong with it?
Well, it stopped going through the washing cycle, so it would fill up, wash, and then drain, and start back over with the same thing. It would never advance forward. So I called Samsung. Actually, I called Cons.
Did you ever just unplug it, reset it, and try that?
Yes, I have tried that. I actually got a hold of a service line through Samsung, and they walked me through some recalibrating, restarting, making sure that
nothing worked.
Isn't too long. Well, it works, but it won't go to its next cycle. So they said that.
Well, then it doesn't. Then it doesn't work.
Correct. So a technician came out. He brought a new board and a MEM sensor.
All right. Anything happen then?
Nope.
Where'd the service person come from?
Fox Engineering. He's a subcontractor of Samsung.
I want to tell you something that I think is really, really bad these days. We have such reliable technology with TVs, appliances, and everything that when something does go wrong, we do not have the good old-fashioned technicians anymore that can go in and take something and fix it. Really, it's remove and replace, and everything is computer diagnostics. The good side is things are so reliable. Think about it. Solid state, very little energy. We have wonderful technology. I love Samsung. But then again, if all of a sudden it stops working, people just don't know what to do. You call the factory and they tell you unplug it, and reset it. So this person that came out, did they identify a problem? Probably a circuit board.
Well, he said anything that was built on Samsung washing machines in February of 2017, they have a bulletin out on 3 different items.
All right, so rather than go through them, did they troubleshoot it? Where does it stand right now?
Yes, it's been troubleshot 4
and
times.
Where does it stand, man?
It still does not work. So I'm getting the runaround.
Why don't they just give you a new? How old is it?
June 25th purchase date.
And they won't replace it at Cons?
No, Cons won't do anything because I did not buy their extended warranty.
So you're stuck with a washer and dryer that doesn't work. How about Samsung?
How old are they? I didn't even hear.
He bought them in June of this year.
June.
Well, they should have a 1-year warranty.
I know, but are they attempting to fix it?
It wouldn't be cons, it would be the manufacturer.
Right, I understand that, but they can't get it. But a retailer should step in, though. A retailer should.
I would think so. I mean, so I've had 3 different...
Does Jensen Appliance on the referral list? Does Jensen Appliance work on this? Can we ask them?
I can ask Tom.
I don't think it's a cons issue, though. I think this is a manufacturer's issue.
I know, but if they can't fix it, are they going to replace it at Samsung?
Samsung told us today that they will do everything as far as getting a technician out, even if it's upwards of 15 times before they do any kind of
but then there is a point at which you have to throw in the towel. So they said they will do anything as far as fixing it. What did they say ultimately they would do if they couldn't fix it? By the way, we still have lines open, 303-713-TALK. You can get right through. So what do they say, Denny?
All they've told us is that they're going to keep sending out a technician until they repair the problem. Now, I've had to go to a laundromat for the last 4 weeks.
This is ridiculous. Do you
have... They will not reimburse any time. They will not.
Well, they're not going to reimburse time.
What is it doing? What is it?
It just doesn't go through the cycle. So it just stops mid-cycle. Denny, what's the latest? Are they going to come out or not?
Well, again, we had a technician out this morning at 8:30. And he said, well, the wiring harness that I brought does not work either, so then we have to reschedule for him to order more parts. And it takes 3 to 4 days for them to get parts.
Well, I'm surprised it's only 3 or 4 days. Do you have a contact at Samsung?
I have. All I have is their direct 800 number on the back of the man.
And do you ever... Wait a minute. That's all you have?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Suzanne.
We should put Deputy Daff on this.
Yeah, you know why? Because
Reach out to Samsung.
she'll woodpecker him to death.
Yep.
She's good at the she's good at the manufacturer thing. She really is. So listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go and start at Samsung, but I want to also talk to your repair guy.
Okay.
Can we call the repair shop and see what they say? The ones who subcontract, they don't have a dog in this fight other than they're just fixing it. They get paid from Samsung. Let's try to get them on the line. Meanwhile, we have lines open. There's nothing more frustrating than a broken appliance. But here's what's funny. When I started this show, it was more than 40 years ago, but in Denver it's been here like 38 years. But I remember one of the guys saying, so tell me, Tom, you tell me you're going to go on the air and you expect to have a long-running show about broken appliances? And I said, there's way more in life than broken appliances. But it brings me back when somebody calls about an appliance, albeit a solid-state Samsung, which wasn't even in the appliance business when I started. We're also talking about HOAs. And anything else that frustrates you. But HOAs can be frustrating. But they can also be good for a community. I mean, think about your neighbor painting his house purple. An HOA can stop that through a covenant. Stan's with us. He's an expert. Rincevich. Stan is with Colorado HOA Forum. Do you do this as a hobby, Stan? Are you retired right now, sir? Yes. Yeah, turn your mic on, and please, you can pull it forward. You don't have to lean.
Right. Yes, I am retired. And
okay, so it's a hobby.
Yes.
Okay. You said one of the...
My God, man, your hobby is HOA.
No, I'm telling you, I'm glad somebody does it. If you have a question about an HOA, if you've been mistreated, let us know. We're going to take a quick break, and I want to tell you this, okay? When it comes to HOAs, they're either good or bad. How about that? They're either good or bad. But we're going to talk about a brewing controversy in HOAs. Service dogs. Service animals. In fact, I think it's a major scam around the country. And we'll talk about it and see what's on your mind when it comes to service animals. One Clear Choice Garage Doors is on my referral list at referralist.com. Why? Because they offer superior service. If you need anything with a garage door, think referralist.com and One Clear Choice Garage Doors, 303-565-6409. To be a member of the referral list, they have to be outstanding, and they have proven it time and time again. They have openers starting at just $2.99. We have more coming right up. Remember, OneClearChoiceDoors.com.
You gotta turn it off. turn it off when we're not talking.
Are these you guys your fasting shirts?
You know, I've thought about this, and I probably average a fast of 48 hours about every month or so.
Really? 48? No,
well, no, I really have. Like there are times I've done it, and I haven't told you guys. Honest to goodness, I think about it now, but I don't think once a month. No, I don't think that often. But I think there have been times for sure where I start going, I start feeling really good, and I keep it going and keep it going. But this will be fun. So did you start officially, Mark?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a cookie. So Mark, what's going on? What did he say about the search?
It's fucked up.
I see the video.
Does he know why? Why?
No, he's going to find out why.
Okay.
The Facebook Live video.
And there's some other issues that changed, so he's going to have to. I just found another one, or Daphne did.
What was it? What is it?
All of a sudden, all the pictures are this big. You can't even see them.
You delivering them?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's agree that this cutting the ball happened.
Well, he's going to tell us what happened.
I mean, that would be ridiculous.
I don't know what he did, so I would have no idea.
It's not just the line, it's the quarterback, it's the coaching.
No, did he have much?
And of course, why don't you apply for the job? Why don't you apply for the coaching job?
Because.
We got a bet.
Some days I get so discouraged with everything.
Are you fasting too with us?
Hell no. Not a chance, dude. I couldn't make it 10 hours.
What do you mean? Did you get the ad I sent for price fixers?
Yes, I want to do two. I want to do that one, and I want to do a straight-up furnace one. I want to run them the exact same places, and I want to see how they both react. I don't understand why someone would click on that without a furnace there. But it might not matter, like you said. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Because it says, I know, but okay.
But I want to do one of each.
I know what you're saying. I got the furnace ready to go. It's easy. Just the furnace, you want something else?
Well, with that cold next to it, or any cold.
Gotcha.
One we've already paid
I am not going to run the errands today. I'm doing it tomorrow. I have too much going on, especially throwing Samsung in there. But I'm going to be dealing with Sandy, and I'm going to do
what's her issue.
So it sounds like Glenn is no longer in the office. And he's not doing marketing.
Art of Granite remodels your kitchen. They'll do your bathroom vanity for free. Call them right now at 303-386-5919. That's 303-386-5919 or online at artofgranite.net.
Today is the day you break the stranglehold of addiction. You and your family can't lose another precious day to this horrible disease. If you or someone you know is abusing alcohol, prescription drugs, hard illegal drugs, or if it's a mental health issue, anxiety, depression, or trauma related to substance abuse, please know you're not alone. There's help. Call the Raleigh House today. They've established a special number to address your concerns. 720-893-5559. That's 720-893-5559. The Raleigh House is a premier addiction recovery program located here in Colorado. You'll speak to someone local about different treatment options, all evidence-based treatments designed to help reduce substance abuse. No more excuses, no more denials. Get the help you need. Some health insurance covers the cost. Call today for a free, no-obligation consultation. The Raleigh House, 720-893-5559. 720-893-5559. Call today.
Hi, it's Mandy Connell. Join my friends Gary Bell and Brad Pollock for the Bell and Pollock Legal Show right here on KHOW every Saturday morning at 7. It's a live call-in show to give Coloradans like you free legal advice on any topic you'd like to discuss with them.
If you're looking for a new or used car, go with TrueCar. They'll show you what others in your area paid for the car that you want. Hi, I'm Robin Hart. Once you register with TrueCar, you'll see real pricing on actual inventory. This is competitive pricing offered to you only by a TrueCar certified dealer for an actual vehicle on their lot. TrueCar users save an average of over $3,000 off MSRP. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states.
Honest analysis in the afternoon.
The truth does not matter.
From Michael Brown.
So fake news matters? Yes, fake news matters because fake news is just a new word for propaganda.
Today at 4.
Got it?
On 630 KHOW.
I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK is our number. If you have a problem, a question, or a complaint, Or maybe you're in the middle of a home project. Here's the problem. People are blindly going to the internet searching for people, but how do you know those people? You know, just because you see them on the internet, how do you know them? And trust me when I tell you, Home Advisor, they don't know these people. And I challenge them if they say they do. Neither does any other list. They don't know these people. So how do you choose? What do you choose first? Price? Location? Brand? How do you shop for anything? And when you're doing a home improvement, why do you trust? What makes you trust? Do you know how many times we've heard on this show people putting money down and getting nothing in return or getting lousy work? It happens several times a week on this show. We get the phone calls. And there's almost nothing you can do if people have taken your money and they don't have it to give back. They spend it. They're gone. And what do? Fight them? Our number is 303-713-TALK. We exist because people make mistakes, but that doesn't mean we want you to make a mistake. We have told you over and over and over. So let's talk about a hot brewing controversy with HOAs. And not just with HOAs, but with airlines and other places. What is a service animal? You know, we used to say dogs, but really, one guy had made the argument he had a service iguana. What is a service animal? And how do they differ from emotional support animals? They're different. But this is what I have thought, that if there's going to be a scam, it's probably going to be in that emotional support area. I can see if somebody has a dog in a wheelchair and that dog runs and gets things or turns on lights or does things like that, it's a service dog. Someone who can't see, they have a dog, what we used to call seeing eye dogs, help people cross the street, walk. But what is a service dog, a service animal? And what is an emotional support animal? That was a fight. Oh my goodness, there was a giant fight in Aspen. It was settled, but it's hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, now, actually, it may not have settled. It may have been appealed. But this guy was saying that it was discrimination, or this woman, against a condominium association and a property management firm over the use of a service dog. Her name was Natasha MacArthur. So, what is a service dog as far as HOAs go? Stan, what's a service dog?
Well, I don't know if we have a clear definition, but it's an animal in this case.
Or a service animal, I should say.
Service animal.
Right.
To complete tasks, to sustain, let's call it life, or to complete everyday tasks. Now, in the case you're citing, they had this dog, I believe, that detected ahead of time seizures. And that was the argument, that it was a service animal.
Well, and there are dogs that can sniff out low blood sugar.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because low blood sugar kills more diabetics than high blood sugar. High blood sugar kills over time. Low blood sugar can kill you immediately or within minutes. So when your blood sugar gets low, apparently you give off some pheromones that dogs can sense. I would call that a service dog, wouldn't you, Mark? That would be a service dog. Yeah. Even though you can't see it go turn on a light. But were they arguing that this dog who senses seizures is not a service dog?
Yes.
Really?
And I just got this past weekend, even though it's an older case. But I think the bigger problem is these internet service animals, or internet emotional support animals, where you just tag your dog and they want to take him in the restaurants, planes.
Not only that, but they say, I can tag my dog, and when I do, you don't have a right to ask me, because it's discrimination and harassment. So go ahead. Where does it stand with HOAs in Colorado?
I was going to, and I can here, but there was a law passed defining what a service animal is in Colorado, and it was in response to these, let's call it, lack of a better term, fake service animals. So that a business doesn't have to permit what we'll call an emotional support dog versus a bona fide, and it's defined what a service animal is in the law. So that's been taken care of.
Well, how's it been taken care of?
Well, I mean, they define it.
Okay, so they define it.
Yes.
So now, what do HOAs have to do? Do they have to let both emotional support and service animals in?
My understanding is no. You can. They have to allow service animals in as defined, but not the other. Let's call them the emotional support dogs.
Right. Okay. So, an emotional support dog, for example, PTSD. A veteran says, I have a dog. That dog calms me down. I need that dog. That's an emotional support animal. Should that be considered a service animal? More and more people are saying, no, we don't want to allow that. If we do, the floodgates open. What's to prevent someone from saying, well, I need a dog because I'm lonely. I need a dog because I'm alcoholic, and they keep me on the wagon. So this is where the controversy is as to what is a service animal. As far as a legal definition, they want you to have what's called a clearly defined disability, which I don't even know what that means. How can you have what is a clearly defined disability? Let's go to Cherry. Is it Cherry? Yes. Oh, with Dakota Station. We ought to give a recap on this because you have an update, right, Cherry?
Yes.
Okay, I want to tell you called originally because you said, by the way, our number is 303-713-TALK. I see it ringing right now, and we have a line open as well. You have a problem with some leaking on your deck or outside your condo or townhome, and it was coming in from the soffit, it looked like, or from the roof. It doesn't matter. It was drenching that area when it rained or when we had a wet snow. We were afraid in the winter that would freeze and be a very hazardous condition, and it just started after they had the roof done. Now, whether it was a bad roof or not, it doesn't matter. It was happening. But Dakota Station, the HOA, and the management company both said there's no problem. We just had the roof done, and the roofer says there's no problem. You had video that we showed of this thing leaking like crazy, and I said, okay, we have a clear-cut problem here. It's a premises liability lawsuit waiting to happen. Because for premises liability, in order for you to be responsible for something that happens on your premises, you have to know that a dangerous condition exists. So we went on the air and officially notified them that they had a dangerous condition. Whether they like it or not, they could never say they were unaware of it if anything happened in the future. After we took that bold action, what happened, Cherry?
Someone came out and they've been on the roof. They've taken off the stone off the chimney. The chimney's now wrapped in plastic and taped. And
so we're getting action. We're getting action.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You know what? I'm happy at least now you're not ignored because you were literally not even being heard.
Yes.
So it does help. Thank you for letting us know that, Cherry. It does help. You know, this is often a problem, again, with HOAs, Stan. The HOA says there is no problem. You know there's a problem. In fact, you even have a guy who says, I know where the problem is and I can fix it, but they're not allowed to do it. Didn't we had a problem like that just the other day, where the woman knew what the problem was, could get it fixed, but they told her she's not allowed to get it fixed. Was it this one or was?
Yes.
Okay. You're not allowed to address it, even if you wanted to. So now you live with it. This is the problem, though. You can't fight HOAs. Not really, Stan.
No, and...
Okay, so what do you do other than listen to people? Seriously.
You run for the board and get on the board and change things.
So I know that you tell people their rights within the law, and there are a lot of, not a lot, but there are some things you can do. But don't you get frustrated, basically?
Right. The law is a pay-to-play game. Most people cannot afford to go to court. They don't have the time to go to court.
Of course they can.
And you do not want to gamble that you're going to be paying the HOA legal costs. So you can take all your HOA laws as we currently stand, and if you flush them down the toilet, you wouldn't lose many rights. Now, what's missing, they had this study, it's called the Sunset Review of the management property manager licensing law. Will it continue? And one of the missing...
What does that mean, licensing? So management companies have to be licensed.
They have to be licensed.
Right.
And there's, like, rules of conduct.
Right. Well, what about it?
What happens there is the consumer or the homeowner right now can file a complaint online and have it investigated by the state. That's good. That never existed before.
You mean they will investigate the management company?
That is correct, no cost.
Okay.
And they can fine or revoke a license if found guilty or guilty many times. Now, what we need is the same thing for homeowner complaints with their boards. Nothing exists except our court system, which means what? People don't pursue their complaints. You can't afford it. So when, and we've tried this is about the 6th year now we're trying to get a law passed, out of court, binding, dispute resolution in the HOA office. We have a state HOA office. Most people don't know that.
In other words, so I want to talk about that state HOA office. Remind me that. But what you're saying is we don't have a procedure other than court.
That's correct.
And it would be nice if we could have another procedure, and I agree. Glenn, I'm going to take you right after this break. Glenn, you want to talk about, you're an HOA board member, right?
Yes.
You've been for 30 years?
Yes.
Okay, and you want to talk about emotional support animals. Can you hang on for a few minutes?
Okay.
This is a really important topic. I'm Tom Martino. I'm also going to ask him about what I call runaway HOAs and runaway management companies. Listen, people, when you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on a place, you can lose your value with a runaway HOA or a runaway management company, and you will have no control over it whatsoever. They can assess you out of existence where you have to give up your unit, or they can pass laws that are intolerable. It has happened. I'm going to explain a real-life situation at Pantera Plaza. Can you believe I'm actually using names? Yes, a real-life situation. All of that and more coming up. I'm Tom Martino.
If you're looking for a beautiful smile, Aurora Orthodontics and TMJ.
Anybody eating downstairs? I run downstairs.
Hamburger?
Yeah.
Roller
cosmetic dentistry that also improves your health. It's less expensive than veneers and will truly fix the problem, not just cover it up. You don't have to spend $50,000 in veneers, or you don't have to go through years of painful braces. Aurora Orthodontics presents the new orthodontics with Dr. Kent Lawson. Sometimes the entire thing from beginning to end can be 2 years or less, and as short as 6 months. And when you have a good palate and straight teeth, you also have better health because it often will correct TMJ and sleep apnea and other problems that originate in the mouth. Dr. Kent Lawson pioneered the new orthodontics. You should give him a call for a consultation. 303-690-0100. 303-690-0100.
Did you know that using TrueCar can also help you buy a used car? Hi, I'm Robin Hart. There are nearly 1 million pre-owned vehicles available from TrueCar certified dealers nationwide. And when you use TrueCar for that used car, you'll see on average what other people paid for the car. That way you'll know what a fair price is and feel confident. So when you're ready to buy a new or used car, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all.
God, pictures of furnaces are so boring.
In 1997 because I was looking for something to do with my kids. By 2012, I had a 3rd child, but my older 2 had graduated from high school. We weren't taking trips together as a family any longer. Then I did see some advertising for Timeshare Exit Team, and I was extremely impressed with how professional they were and how straight and to the point they were in getting me out of my timeshare.
Time changes everything. If your timeshare no longer fits your life, go to timeshareexitteam.com.
Hey, Denver floor buyers, the 6th annual fall flooring yard sale is going on now at Lumber Liquidators. Get high-quality flooring at low yard sale prices, like woodland waterproof floors from just 39 cents. All clean home X2O water-resistant laminate is on sale. Pre-finished hardwood is starting at $149. In-store while
Goodman is the largest manufacturer. It is.
Hurry, visit lumberliquidators.com to find a Denver store near you today.
What if I told you that you could play any song, album, or playlist on the iHeartRadio app for free? It's not a trick. It's our Halloween treat. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's the iHeartRadio All Access Free Preview Weekend. Our library of millions of songs is yours for free
Here's one that's going to come in at 11. I'm sorry. This is a call's going to come in at 11 on HOA.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been recommending them for 20 years, and they've done pre-roofs for me. Call 303-761-6400. When it comes to roofing, I get numerous complaints from people who paid money up front and got nothing. That will never happen with Excel. Because with Excel Roofing, you only pay when the job is finished and you're 100% satisfied. And they don't hold you hostage with stupid cancellation fees. They earn your trust every day. 303-761-6400. That's 761-6400. ExcelRoofing.com. Also on my referral list at referralist.com.
Excel Roofing, we're on top of it. Greenberry, Greenberry, healthy cereal for your family.
Great. Just do not. I was going to take your boring cereal and switch it with delicious Grainberry cereal with amazing onyx sorghum. Oh, onyx sorghum. It's an ancient grain, rich in natural fibers for sugar control with more antioxidants than any fruit or vegetable.
Will my kids like it?
If they like
You got that real quick.
and it sounds like they do.
Look for Greenberry cereals with amazing onyx sorghum. Greenberry, Greenberry.
Napa know-how.
It takes a lot to get excited about a bag, but most bags can't save you 20% on auto parts. That's 20% off headlamps, 20% off oil filters, 20% off virtually anything you can fit inside the 99-cent Napa reusable bag. So tell your buddies, there's a bag they just have to check out. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Minimum 3 items. Exclusions apply. Offer ends 10/31/17.
Do you have payroll tax problems? Get your peace of mind back. Go to advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Sean Hannity, today at 1 on Denver's Talk Station, 630 KHOW.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. We're talking HOAs and more. Any problems or complaints you have, give us a call. Leslie has a comment on service dogs. We were talking about service dogs versus emotional support animals, or service animals and emotional support animals. There's definitely a difference, and I think more and more abuse is happening in the so-called emotional support area, where people are taking animals on planes, claiming that they have PTSD or other ailments that require an animal. Leslie, what's your comment?
Well, here's the thing. This is a huge pet peeve of mine because I am a certified dog trainer. Service animals are working animals, not pets. The work or task the dog has been trained to provide must be directly related to the person's disability. Dogs whose sole function is to provide comfort or emotional support does not qualify as service animals under the ADA. There are 2 questions that you are allowed to ask someone if you're not sure if their animal is a service animal. And the first thing you can ask is, under the law, is the animal a service animal required because of a disability? And 2, what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? That's the key. Has the dog been trained to do something? If the dog has been trained to alert the person who's about to have a seizure to go to a dark room and lay down, he's been trained. If the dog is trained to pick up keys or turn on light switches, he has been trained. And another huge clue is a working service animal, people will not let you come up and pet them.
Okay, so these people who say I have PTSD, or I'm this or I'm that, and I need a dog or I need an iguana, they can't. That's not considered protected.
Well, that's where it gets sticky. There are some agencies that will give soldiers PTSD dogs for emotional support, but there are also some agencies that give dogs to PTSD soldiers who are actually trained to do something. In other words, I've seen one...
No, I understand. But what if they're not trained to do anything and they're just for support?
Then that is not a service dog, and they're not allowed to go into restaurants and stores and that.
Unless people, of course, let them. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Leslie.
Because it's to the point that, like, where my mom works, she works for a huge box store, and I'm tired of seeing these dogs in here peeing on the corners of stuff and whatever. Service dogs will never do that.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, or I may have a... Yes, Mark, what were you going to say?
She just sounded so angry.
Well, you know
My
why?
God.
I'll tell you why. Because she trains dogs, she's a professional, and she's probably saying that her industry is being polluted. Glenn?
Yes.
Now, you've been an HOA board member for 30 years.
I have.
Various HOAs?
No, a single HOA. I'm actually a member of three. I've got rental properties.
Oh, now.
But I've been on the board of one particular association for more than 30 years.
Do you have a lot of proxies?
No, it's a very small HOA.
Okay.
We try to include the entire ownership.
I'm going to talk about runaway HOAs and runaway management companies, and I gave an example of Pantera Plaza because I actually have knowledge of that situation, and I'm not saying anything's illegal. I'm just saying that I want to explain a situation to people and have them weigh in. So what were you going to say about emotional support dogs and service dogs, or let's say animals, where I say dogs?
Yeah, over the last couple of years, we've run into this, and the situation that really sticks in my mind is one of our owners had his unit rented out. After he rented the unit, lease was signed. One of the two tenants, a young woman, declared that she had to have a dog, even though that it was clear that there were no dogs allowed in the condominium rules.
All right, so then what?
Well, she got a dog. She presented the board and her landlord with a letter from medical practice in northern Colorado. Turns out this fella is a psychiatrist who deals mostly with drug addiction.
All right, and so what did he say?
Well, he didn't say anything. It was on his letterhead, but
that's
what
I meant.
On our end.
What happened?
Well, it said that this particular woman had a critical need to be in the company of this dog at all times for her emotional health. And we consulted. We have very limited resources, 7-member association. We consulted one of our owners who was and board members who was a realtor, longtime realtor in the neighborhood, and she said it's happening all the time, that this was, for lack of a better expression, a scam that young people primarily were involved in.
I understand, and I agree to a large degree that's probably happening. So what's the bottom line? What did you guys do? Did you fight it?
No, we didn't. We didn't have the resources to fight it, and we really did not want to face.
You know what's funny? That's because you're a small HOA. Most HOAs don't care about money. So, Glenn, I want to tell you about a runaway here, since you're on the board, if this can happen. There's a lady over at Pantera, and this happens all over the country, all over the state, all over. She's not the only one. Over the years has acquired proxies from people who simply let her make decisions.
Right.
To a point where she owns most of the vote. She has the biggest voting block there is. So therefore, she gets rules passed. One of the rules is you can't mail out to other members. So you can't mass mail out. You can't do certain things. Like you can only do certain things. And when she wants to get the board, she stacks the board with her friends, and they stay on there. And if anyone opposes her, they're off the board. So she literally has this entire building to herself as far as how she wants to control the building. And it's a fact. So if she wants something, she gets it. If she doesn't, it doesn't happen. And you can't fight it. Why? Because no one can find out no one can reach out to that group of proxies and say, don't give your vote away. And there's so much apathy, a lot of people don't care. And even if you wanted to get the word out, okay, you don't have to care, but at least spread your proxy around. In other words, give your proxy to someone else, or do something. A proxy, for those listening, is where you give someone else the right to vote for you on any issue. On any issue. Now, do you realize for years and years and years, this woman controlled that entire building and will continue to? I mean, and think about it, nothing can be done. What would you do in a case like that, Glenn?
I'd probably seek legislative relief. I'd probably go to my representatives in the legislature.
I think proxies should automatically revert.
That would prohibit it.
I think you should have some kind of law that doesn't allow people to automatically proxy, that you have to go out and re-get them every 2 years or so. In other words, you have to get new signatures. Because then at least you would have a window maybe where you can get in there. But imagine this. You're spending $500,000. Oh, that's a one-bedroom. No, it's not. It's more. Yeah, $500 for a one-bedroom all the way up to $1 million or more for a condo. And one woman controls it. One woman. She wants a certain color in the lobby, she gets it. She wants this. If she thinks you're running a business out of your condo, they write a letter. The management company writes a letter, because if they don't do what she says, they're going to be fired. In other words, one woman, because of all the proxies. Now, here's the deal. She has proxies. She's only one vote. But because she has proxies, she has a voting block. In order to break that block, you would have to contact members, which she doesn't allow. Think about it. Think about it. This is happening. Pantera Plaza. Now, it might have changed since then, but I don't think so. Now think about other places this might be happening, where one person or two people or three hold a majority of proxies. It's not unlikely, is it, Stan?
What's confusing here is, if this person gets the people, the proxies, to advocate her position.
No, they don't advocate her position. They just say, here, you vote for me.
But every event that comes up, don't they have to recertify that they proxy to this person?
I don't think so.
I think so. I never heard of a continuing authority. Because they're No,
that's the part I think that is wrong. I don't think you need continuing. If you sign over your proxy for all matters HOA, tell me why.
I never heard that.
Oh, well, neither did I until there. Okay, then I heard of it happening in another building, and I thought, okay, they have large voting blocks. I have to take this break, and then I'm going to tell you, well, I want to take more comments. Jim has HOA assessments he wants to talk about, and then other people. Linda has a comment. All of that coming right up.
There's no law that says you have to proxy every time there's a vote.
Let me give you an example. Let's say we want a bond issue we're going to vote on, or some darn issue, okay? Then we collect the proxies for that particular issue. Then the next...
But she has a standing proxy.
I never heard of that.
Well, if I want to give you a proxy for everything, I can. Nobody can tell me I can't. And that's what she gets.
The way I'm familiar with, you send out proxies for each referendum, and they're independent of each other. Which is different from just John Doe gives in perpetuity.
Tell me what referendum you're talking about. Tell me.
Let's say
I'm not talking about voting in a district. I'm talking about an HOA matter.
We want to change the governing documents, the bylaws. Okay. So
they have a vote.
They have a vote, and we're going to change. Let's say you can only have 2 dogs now versus 3.
But who's going to bring that up? Who will bring that matter up?
The board.
Okay, it's her board. So So tell me, that's what I'm getting at.
But you send out ballots.
But you don't. If that issue never comes up because she doesn't want it, if she disagrees with something, it can't even get to a ballot because she has stacked the board.
Well, okay, now you're back to the root of the problem. But when we do have a vote, and that's when the proxy comes in, right?
Well, let's say somebody managed to get a vote, but you can't even do that because you have to vote on whether you're going to do it.
You got to, vote. The board's got to vote whether you're going to vote.
So the original proxy was to get on the board. The original proxy is that on the board, when the boards do regular business, and they cast votes, or they say they're going to cast membership votes, she comes in with the majority of votes.
No, she on the board. But if you want to change the governing documents, you have to have a vote.
But nobody's changing governing documents.
Okay, then it's irrelevant.
But I'm talking about things like the carpeting in the lobby. I'm talking about everything. She controls everything.
Absolutely.
So nothing ever. That's the whole point. I wanted to. I mean, not me, but this guy wanted to change the governing, but you can't get a measure.
No, the next time they vote for the board that has a term, right, every 3 years or something, she has to go out and get the proxies again.
Okay, I disagree because she votes every time for this block. She votes for it. But you're saying that she has to go out and get that 40% every single time?
Yes.
Who says? Where's that
I
written?
bet that's in her bylaws or governing documents, whatever, the declarations.
Okay.
She probably gets them for some reason, regardless.
No, how would she get them though?
I have no idea.
If they're sent out.
We send them out and we get proxies back. The elections I'm familiar with, and that's it.
How many proxies do you get? Would you say?
In my HOA, very few, less than 5%.
And when you say a proxy, what do they say? They say, I'm going to have so-and-so vote for me?
Yeah, I grant so-and-so my voting privileges. Okay? But the next election...
I have never heard that you can't have a standing proxy. You're saying is there a law against a standing proxy? That's what I was
Think
trying
about
to
how
ask.
irregular, I know what you're saying, but how, John and Sue are running this time, next time it's two different people. It's totally independent events. I don't think she has a standing, perpetual authority on proxies. But once she owns the board, I just say the next election, if that's what you're talking about, she'd have to go out and get the proxies again.
You're saying that, but I'm saying that somehow she obtains a proxy. Somehow that, here, I'm going to remember that. See, often terms proxy used interchangeably.
This is a problem with absentee ownership, too.
A proxy is a document executed by an owner that grants another person the owner's right to vote.
Yeah.
Generally, an individual who cannot attend a meeting will grant a proxy. This helps to ensure proxies may be general, in perpetuity, or directed. A directed proxy does just what it says, one thing. A general proxy simply grants the right to vote to a proxy holder until they revoke it.
It's just like power of attorney.
They give it to them until it's revoked. You're making this up. I wish it was like you said.
No, that's my comment. I don't know that.
I don't know it either. All I know is that if there was a way, don't you think that I think they would have done it? That was the problem. They couldn't get it. But here's it says directed and general. And the general one is a proxy that grants you the right to vote on
Show Drew that video. He said we should be concerned about maybe somebody wanting to file charges on Miles at some point.
For what? Wait.
I'll have to show you the video.
Oh, don't talk about it.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. All right, listen. We have spirited discussions on and off there. We were talking about proxies. And there's a general proxy which gives the right to vote. You can give the right to someone to vote on all matters. Then there's a directed proxy for a specific matter you can't make it for. Stan was questioning, how the heck can somebody just over and over and over give a proxy? Now listen, I wish it wasn't that way because there are some runaway boards. We're not just talking about HOAs, by the way. We'll talk about any consumer problem, question, or complaint, but Linda has a comment. Go ahead. We are all affected by HOAs, though. I'm saying that is one problem that we can say for sure is universal. Linda, go ahead.
Oh, thanks so much for taking my call.
What's your comment?
So, actually, I emailed your team. It's probably going to be more than what you can do, but several. One is that the property management companies actually control the board. If the board tells the...
Well, it shouldn't be that way, but it does become that way.
Well, because if the board asks the property management company to do something and they say, no, we're not, then you have no other recourse.
Wait a minute. Wait. If the what asks what?
If the board asks the property management company
to do something, and the management company doesn't do it, the board can fire them. What do you mean they can't do anything?
Yeah, but you fire them. We've gone through like 7 or 8 different property management companies just since 2006. And this is a pervasive problem. So when you hire a property management company and
they want full control,
and the contract says that the management company is going to do A, B, C, and D, A doesn't get done, B gets done so poorly it causes damage.
Linda, you do agree that HOAs control the management company if they are active and astute. They do.
No, they don't, because our board was, and the management company said, no, we're not going to do this, and we had no recourse, and sure.
Okay, so Mark, you're on an HOA, and the management company tells you, no, we're not going to do what you tell us.
So
she's saying there's nothing they can do about it.
Other than
You fire the management company. Well, other than fire them, of course. Linda, and you're saying to fire them becomes a hassle, so they dig their heels in and call your bluff, basically, is what you're saying.
Well, or they try to get rid of the the members that they think are causing them
I agree with you. Now, here's what happens. Over the years, because of apathy, people don't participate, and the management company literally goes to people and say, you know what, you'd be good on the board, why don't you run? And they run the whole election and get people on the board, and the boards don't even meet hardly, and the management company they start doing the proxies, they start doing the management, saying, if you just let us worry about it, don't worry about it. But Linda, that's because of apathy. That's not because of the law.
Well, the apathy, Tom, comes for when people actually take the time to show up these meetings that are being scheduled during normal business hours.
I know, when they're working.
Far away so that they can't come, but when they do come, they're given pushback, excuses.
You're right.
Incorrect information. So why should they show up?
You're right. Management companies have a way of manipulating things. I totally agree. They do. They have a way of manipulating things that over the years, they become what I call a runaway property management company. All of a sudden, they're in there, and no one is voting to renew their contract, so it renews. No one's voting them out. It renews. They start assessing fees. They start assessing fees for their work. They start making money. Here's the deal. There are, I'll bet you, some management companies that have been in power for 20 years without a challenge from the board, and people in the association start believing that the management company is the owner. I mean, they start believing that this management company is the owner. How many times have you seen that, Stan, where the management company has no authority other than, they have authority, but the HOA simply has to fire them, and they won't?
No, I agree. Most people don't understand that property management companies run most HOAs. And
completely.
The board is fine with that because they become complacent and lazy
and
don't understand. And now, that's why
we're running out of time, so we'll come back and talk.
Was good.
And we'll talk about licensing and more.
Are you retired or planning for retirement? Retirees have lots of financial questions and need to make lots of decisions. You want to get them right. Hi, I'm Linda Gardner, host of Your Money, Your Retirement, every Saturday on 630 KHOW. You're invited to attend my free retirement classes on Saturday morning, October 28th.
Well, you talk about fees. I talked about transfer fees before. I was on here one time, and we challenged the property manager to call up and justify them. When you transfer,
I know, it's bullshit.
They won't do it. And that's one thing we're working on, but this guy was talking about legislatively changing things. Forget it. Our legislators don't care.
Make the right decisions for your financial future. Seats are limited. Enroll now, and I'll see you on Saturday morning, October 28th. For more information, go to registercolorado.com. That's registercolorado.com. Or call 720-488-8604. That's 720-488-8604.
This is Denver's Talk Station, 630 KHOW, an iHeart radio station. With Russ Kaminsky mornings, Michael Brown afternoons, KHOW, Denver.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. President Trump stepping up the pressure on lawmakers for progress on tax reform, telling Fox News.
It's a tremendous tax cut. Especially for the middle class and especially for business.
The House says it's going to try to pass the Senate budget later on this week.
Fox's John Roberts, there is pushback.
There are a lot of concerns.
Did you realize that was the law? You're going to pass a budget,
even
and then it's 51
that
votes
some like the
versus
elimination of tax
you're going to have 60
deductions like
votes.
state and local might actually cause
To override, not just the budget, things after that, not the budget. You knew that? I don't know that.
Say it again.
So they have to pass the budget at 51. Right, but if they don't pass the budget, now subsequent things that they're going to do, it's got to have 60 votes.
Well, they can change that too, though. If they want to change it. They've been very hesitant to change that, though. I don't know why.
What if hiring could be easier, less time-consuming, with more qualified candidates and faster results? What if hiring could be smarter? Thanks to ZipRecruiter, it can be. With one click, post your job to over 100 of the web's leading job boards, so you don't spend time wondering where the right candidates are searching. Then ZipRecruiter uses its smart matching technology to scan millions of active resumes and notify the most qualified candidates to apply for your job. And the ZipRecruiter dashboard makes it easy to review, rate, and contact candidates, all in one place. No wonder 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day.
Looks like another thing came out on
businesses of all sizes to hire
Bill O'Reilly. It says here,
He sells for $32 million.
32 million.
And then, so he sells for that. I thought there was nothing physical.
30. Well, god dang, something must have happened. Why would you give someone $32 million?
And then they find out all about it. You're right.
I gotta see who this is. I don't even know who this is.
And apparently he was sending stuff to her.
Well,
he goes
back to the loofah. Remember that?
No, it wasn't a loofah. It was a falafel.
No.
He was going to rub her down in the shower with a falafel.
Is there something wrong with that?
I used to use a burrito personally.
I love the
I remember her. She was, I liked her a lot. She's good.
That's, it was the one?
That's her.
Real? Yeah.
32 million she gets. And he can give you an honest... She was an attorney, too. She's smart as hell.
Yeah, she was, like, on with them all the time.
All the time.
You know, it's funny. Is Miles such a little freak? He's a tiny little guy, and he knocks the guy out. I mean, this is funny.
Did you see that shit?
Well, you know why? I mean, what do they expect?
He's got a boxing ring in the basement.
He's done it since he was a kid. I mean, for God's sakes.
See how fast he is?
Of course he is.
That kid is 6'2".
Yeah, but your kids since they were freaking little.
I know, they've been in Taekwondo.
I know it. I mean, you can't take that for granted. That training goes somewhere. You don't just make it up. You know, I mean, rfuller.com.
Well, it comes out when people start.
It's for real.
It's definitely for real. He hit that kid so hard his head went to the wall.
He didn't just hit him hard, he hit him so fast. There was a flurry of fish you couldn't see. The guy's thinking he's going to do this shit. He's thinking he's going to do this. All of a sudden he goes, bam. I mean, it's like it's like a joke.
I think he knocked him out for half a second.
He looked like it.
Is someone coming back on it? Or?
What do you mean?
Oh, I thought you said
no. He was in a friend's house. They've got full boxing gear.
That's consensual, man. And you know what?
No, he's got a boxing.
How do you knock a guy out with a helmet on?
No, I thought this was a kid at school.
You clip him, man.
But here's the deal.
Send me that video.
What's really funny is you can't have a more puny looking kid than Miles. I mean, but he's like
that's exactly how I looked. I was just like that, skinny as shit. Were you skinny?
Yeah.
I mean, Miles must weigh $110.
What's really funny is that
I graduated as 150 pounds.
He had so much power in his punches, and that other bigger kid, that's what karate does. It shows you how to throw it.
Well, it shows you how
to... Boxing also.
I know it does, but boxing isn't necessarily... Well, you're right.
Oh, my God, if he could use his speed, he would have knocked him out with the roundhouse.
Yeah. But you're right. Good boxers are really good. I mean, they can pack some power, you're right. But I think karate packs a little more power in a punch. Because karate doesn't throw as many punches usually.
Well, Taekwondo, which he's trained in, is generally mostly kicking. Like in the Olympics, it's 90% kicking. That kid can kick you in the face before you put your fists up.
Tell your buddies, there's a bag they just have to check out. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How.
1200 by 628, right?
Auto parts stores while supplies last. Minimum 300. Exclusions apply. Offer ends 10/31/17. Liberty Mutual presents Worry.
How did you see it? How did she bring it up?
$700.
How do you even bring it up? This just wants me to log into Twitter.
So you can feel good about the family budget.
I'm sending it a different way. I'm using mail drop.
Okay.
Get a quote at libertymutual.com. You can leave worry behind when Liberty stands with you. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide survey of new customers. Coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company.
Hang on, I might have to send it to me first, download it, then send it.
The keyword win to 200.
She can send it from your phone to her phone.
Did you hear his buddy laughing his ass off, too?
That's right. He says, call me anything you want. Just don't call me late for dinner.
I need somebody.
Now, Tom Martino, the Troubleshooter.
Help me.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter. 303-713-TALK is the number. 303-713-8255. We have Stan Rincevich with us. He is he runs the Colorado HOA Forum. It's just like his hobby, really. He got screwed once by an HOA and said never again. So he basically provides information about HOAs. And that's what he does. He's retired. This is, a nonprofit. I mean, I still can't imagine for the life of me, Stan, how this is your hobby. Anyway, we're talking about any of your problems because this is the only place you're going to talk about problems. And I urge you, of course, to use referralist.com, of course, to prevent problems. So we do help, information, and referrals here. And I believe we have you on the referral list, don't we, Stan? Even though you're not a business, I think you're on there for HOA problems. We're trying to beef up our nonprofit section of the referral list. That's been on the back burner for a while, but we'll get to it. Meanwhile, I want to also tell you that this is brought to you by Pure Water Choices, and that's your. And I want you to look them up on Facebook, Pure Water Choices. And the reason I say that is this is an area of big ripoff. Pure Water Choices is a great place, and they battle these fly-by-nights all the time that come to your door and scare you about water. Al, a master plumber, can tell you the truth about your water, about the installation, and about your evaluation free of charge. Go to Facebook to look for him. And if you want pure water, if you want a good filtration system or a conditioning system, one or both, 720-219-7818. Really, pure water is important for drinking. You can do a point of use thing for $500 or $600 for endless pure water, or get a whole house conditioning and purification system. 720-219-7818. 720-219-7818. PureWaterChoices.com. Look for them on referral list. And on Facebook. We have a lot of HOA comments. We were talking about homeowners associations and how people can really, really get screwed and have hundreds of thousands of dollars of their investment go down the drain if you have a runaway management company no one wants to deal with, or a runaway HOA. So let's talk in general. I'm going to go down the line. Linda, you have a perspective about HOAs. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Tom. So I'm going to propose some solutions.
For what?
For the problems with both the property management companies, which are pervasive, and boards that tend to be negligent.
Okay.
So the first is a state-sponsored, controlled, robust HOA website. So the state puts up the platform, and the various HOAs have their websites there, so that, therefore, when they fire an HOA, a property management company, or the property management company fires them, they don't lose things in the transfer. They don't have to reset up new websites, new banking, so forth and so on.
You know, hold on, Linda. You have a really good, idea, but I don't know if it has to be done by the state. But it is a good idea for HOAs to have a central database of information for that stuff, so if the management company goes away, they don't screw them. Is there something set up, because there is licensing right now of management companies, right, Stan?
There's licensing of management companies and compulsory registration.
But what about
HOAs?
Records keeping? What's to prevent a management company from blackmailing a board, saying, look, we're going to walk if you don't do this, and we're not going to give you any information?
Well, that's what the new licensing program is about, and right now, if they withhold records from either the homeowner or the HOA board, one can file a complaint with the state. That is free. It will be investigated. That's number one. Secondly, we have an HOA information office in the state, and it is a repository of all HOA laws, so that's a good thing. Your local HOA governing documents should be available to you. Matter of fact, they are, more than likely, either posted on your HOA website, or you should be able to request a copy of that, or get them from the state. The state has all the declarations on a website. So all that stuff's available.
Yeah, that's too many places as consumers.
No, I understand what you're saying. Linda, Linda, that is a good idea. And there is an HOA office, or what is it called in the state? What is it called?
I call it just the HOA office. There's a long term.
But you ought to talk to them.
I already have.
You're proposing a centralized, like a cloud.
Well, yeah, and then that way, when you change companies, you don't lose.
And who pays for all this? I just dying to know.
The HOAs.
Okay, so now my HOA fees go up.
No, they should go down. So better use of technology. So
but hold on, Linda, for a sec. Just hold on. Mark, here's what I'm thinking, though. Really, think about an HOA gets really entrenched with a management company. And that management company, they don't like, and they want to switch it out. You know how when we want to switch bank accounts, we think, oh, my God, look at all the trouble, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's what they're thinking with a management company. She's proposing some way to make a transition smoother from one management company to another. All the accounts and all of that. What are you...
Well, do you realize there's 9,000 HOAs in this state? If someone is proposing to put all the management company records on some I can't even imagine how.
No, I know what you're saying. In theory, it sounds great.
It costs a fortune.
But I think what she is saying is important, but maybe not government sponsored. Maybe what you do is if you're an HOA,
why do you want government in this?
No, you don't.
This is getting absurd.
If you have an HOA, maybe you have some kind of drop dead list for HOAs that you maintain for management companies that you maintain as an HOA. So when you want to kick out a management company, they're not holding you hostage. But you're saying there are already laws in place that they have to give all of that information to the HOA.
Yes, if you have a and they can be fined or their license pulled right now.
Now, don't you think most people that had an issue with an HOA got fined by them? There is an axe to grind there. I mean, have you personally had an issue with an HOA?
No.
Okay. Well, I have, but it's when I did something I wasn't supposed to do, like park a car next to my house. Yeah. So it's like I don't understand why it's so anti-HOA.
By the way,
I don't want my neighbor's house being bright pink, and I don't want a couch out front. That's the way it goes.
Right, but some HOAs get out of hand. By the way, that's not what Linda's talking about. Linda was talking about a management company and an HOA. That relationship is very close, but I believe HOAs should have the freedom to change management companies whenever, of course.
So you're saying they don't?
No, they do.
Of course they do.
But it's very costly and difficult.
It's difficult, and the point I'm
Here's
trying
the other
to make
thing. Move to where there is no HOA.
The point I'm trying to make is that the government has told these HOAs that you are the governing body, you are the ruling body, and then they have not equipped them to do so. That's why you need a website, a good website, not controlled by the property
you made your point. And Linda, the other thing I wanted to say is what you're saying is true. The HOA members, and until we do something, about the apathy, management companies will always have the upper hand. That's what we're talking about. Mark, I think HOAs do have a place, and they're important, but I don't want a management company coming in and eventually telling us all what to do as a homeowners association.
But as the HOA, you hire the management company.
I know you do. But then what usually happens, because they start doing a good job, that the HOA members actually start surrendering more and more control, and they just say, oh, leave it to them.
But that's the member's problem then, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is the members' problem.
You need better technology so you can have electronic voting and balloting and electronic meetings so that you
but we're not going to get the government to do all that. That's a pipe dream.
No, that's not a pipe dream.
Well, it is.
Who's going to pay for it? You pay for it then. Have her write a check.
You're not going to have, Linda, I understand what you're saying, but it is kind of a dream to think that the government's going to come in and organize all of the management
Nor would I want the government to come in and do it.
And all of the balloting. Look, she made a good point. The point she's making is there needs to be something, but I think it has to be done on the HOA level to make transitioning, if you want to a new management company not a big frightful event. See, that other woman said, when you have a management company, she called in the last hour and she said, what do you do with a management company? It just says, no, we're not going to do what you say. They literally say, we think this is a better way, and the HOA disagrees with them. That's where a management company is so strong that the HOA is afraid to fire them because they don't know what to do. There are HOAs right now that wouldn't know what to do if their management company walked out. They wouldn't know the first thing to do. And it's frightful. It really, really is. So what Linda would like to see, I don't think it's going to happen. It's a dream. She's thinking if there was a way the state held records and everyone could transition easily, and where electronic ballots were kept.
I know, and I want
free
pizza on Friday.
Linda, we don't mean to disrespect what you're saying. It's just, I don't think that panacea will ever happen. The problem boils down to homeowners. They don't really care. And therefore, They let their management company.
How many times do we hear each year, I just moved into this new neighborhood and I didn't realize because there's a commercial license plate, I can't park my truck there. Well, read the damn guidelines before you move into that neighborhood.
Right.
I painted my house. Now they're telling me I got, well, read the guidelines.
I know. Rita, you want to talk about a plumber? Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Rita. What's going on with you? What's happening?
Okay, so I called Home Advisor to get a referral for a plumber to install a sump pump motor.
Okay.
And when he came out, he was looking for all kinds of different work, like he wanted to...
now, this is somebody you got off of Home Advisor, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so did you have 5 or 6 people call you?
They gave me a lot of referrals via email.
Okay. And so this guy came out and was looking for other work. That's not unusual for, you know, them to want to try to find other work. But what went wrong?
Everything. He connected the dishwasher incorrectly and even broke a valve on there. He didn't drain the bathtub out.
How much damage do you have?
A lot of damage.
Is this a master plumber?
He claimed he was a master plumber, and I looked him up on Dora. He's never been licensed.
Did he pull a permit?
No, and that was the other thing. I had no idea.
So did you call, and I don't mean this as a joke, but did you call Home Advisor about it?
I did.
And what did they do?
They took the position that they were protecting him. They couldn't care less, and I said, aren't you
Oh, they didn't
stop
say
him?
that. They didn't say we're protecting him and we don't care. Come on.
No, they did not say that. But their attitude, her attitude was, well, we have to get all the information.
Well, okay. I think you were just upset they didn't snap to it quick enough, but we will. Why don't you provide us with information? We'll reach out to this guy. But I need to know the top 3 problems right now you want us to solve, and we'll come back to that and more coming right up. I'm Tom Martino, and Rocky's Autos has used cars, trucks, SUVs, and vans, 63rd and Federal, Monday through Saturday, 9 to 8. Selection out the nose. I don't know what that means, but they have so much selection, not just when it comes to your make, model, colors, and accessories, but they have different price ranges and 40 lenders to choose from where they originate the loan right there, and when you get sent down the road in a Rocky's car, it's all done. Great value. Never get a call back saying they made a mistake. Rocky's, 63rd and Federal.
An HOA was my own doing.
Everyone. But Mark, I'm actually not talking about HOAs. I'm talking about like HOAs where one person is really in charge of everything, and like the one I talk, or where a management company has been there so long that truly the HOA, they don't even meet anymore.
Didn't you change yours? I mean, didn't you get involved and change whatever issues you had?
No.
No, why not?
Well, my issue was access to the financial records, okay?
But you did change that.
Did you get access to them?
No, but the laws changed things, right?
Well, the problem is I have to go back to court again. You know, it's a circular thing. The problem is abuse by an HOA.
Well, why can't you vote them out? Then you could have access.
We all know voter apathy. It's nationwide in our presidential elections.
Yeah,
okay. But what happens here is if you had an out of court.
What do you think they were spending money on? What was your? Do you think they were lying in their own
I know what
pockets?
happened. See if I can do this real quick. We had a newsletter. They sold ads in the newsletter. Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, it became a good deal for the homeowners. Okay.
Because it was generating money for the homeowners.
Well, I went in and I was suspecting something because this one realtor always had these 3 pages in the back for 7 years. And I said, why doesn't anybody else? They said, well, because he does the printing. I said, hold on a minute. The value of these ads is much more than the printing. So anyway.
So that's, I got you.
So I went
then they
in,
wouldn't show you exactly how much he was paying or what he was doing.
Took for 7 years the value of his ads.
I got you.
And he never once showed where he paid for any printing.
I got you.
So it came out to about $25,000.
I got over 7 years.
Yeah. And I went in and asked them. Basically, I wasn't asking the guy to pay it back. Is to change procedurally.
Were you a realtor?
No.
Okay.
And anyway, the problem with this guy, you gave me this thing, the guy's going to call in. What happened was he went into court without a
He
lawyer.
actually had a case on a
My
bozo
understanding,
home
if
advisor
you read this,
contractor,
don't
so I
you?
thought
All
you
right,
might
skin-
like
okay.
talk to him too.
That's the problem. That's the step number one in the fight in an HOA. But it's your limited resources against their unlimited.
Have you ever fought one?
No.
Or had a problem with one?
I've had problems for building a shed and stuff like that.
Just getting it approved.
Right.
But you didn't build it and then bitch, or did you?
No, I built it, then they said it was 2 inches too high. Then I had to go.
Well, we know whose fault that is.
That's yours.
Well, actually, it's where they measured it from. See, that's the thing about it.
No, did you show them?
Well, then I went in and said, hey, you measured from here, it's, just right.
We proposed a law for educational requirements for board members, and it would be free of charge. It would be an online course on the state HOA office, and having homeowners be required to sign that they read the covenants, okay, and the maintenance responsibilities, okay. We couldn't get that anywhere. Now, guess what would happen if that went in? Then when you're bitching about your board, you say, you signed this. Case closed. We don't even want to hear from you. Right now, it becomes somewhat ambiguous, I mean, then people lose in court. But why not have them sign that they read this? Maintenance is a big thing. Who's supposed to paint, do the roof, do the cement? People go in ignorant, and if they knew before they get in, a lot of these things would be cut off at the pass real quickly. Sure.
But that's the homeowner's problem.
It is the homeowner.
It is, but like I say, you're buying in a place there. I never knew there was an HOA. They never told me there was an HOA.
They do it.
Yeah, at closing.
Absolutely, they
Well,
A million times.
You just signed everything they put in front of you, not reading.
Yes, right, okay, so maybe that was as far as...
You're blind!
But shouldn't the realtor...
Frank would tell you.
Look, blame the realtor.
Frank wasn't around in '94.
Realtors don't even want you to know the home is in an HOA until closing, but they can't.
You know how much my HOA is? $7 a year.
Yeah, but you get what you pay for.
And it's voluntary.
You know what mine is, and I need to change this.
Yours is absurd.
$1,700 a month.
Yeah.
$1,700?
Yes,
but they probably pay for...
No, concierge service and everything else. So
the
don't let
butler?
them...
You got a butler?
I'm not saying it's worth that, but that's a lot. Plus all the amenities on the property. Right?
You got a butler.
But I can pull up...
He has no amenities.
And my groceries put away.
Mine's 94.
But I'm not bragging about it. I don't.
Yeah, but yours includes probably trash.
No, I really don't.
And that's the best thing is trash because everybody's out there the same day.
Trash.
The same day. Otherwise, some of these places, they've got trash out there every day of the week.
Yeah.
I hope you never need winkandwink.com, bankruptcy attorneys, 303-410-1720. Listen, unforeseen circumstances befall us all. And I hope it never happens to you. But if you need a fresh start for one reason or another, a divorce, maybe a death in the family, maybe a medical emergency, 303-410-1720, Mike and Gigi Wink, winkandwink.com. Okay. Rita got a fake plumber, she said, from Home Advisor. Now, I'm not blaming Home Advisor, by the way. Seriously, I'm not. I mean, people, you still have to be smart. I think that I like to brag about the referral list because we really do screen people better than anyone, and we get directly involved. We, in fact, probably solve more problems with Home Advisor people and Angie's List people than we do for our own. But Rita, how do you know he's fake? You say he's not licensed, right?
Right.
That's pretty fake. Now, I want to know the top 3 problems you want solved today, and we're going to call the guy. Go ahead.
Okay, he installed a French drain in my crawl space, and my total bill with him is like $2,900, and it was money that was earmarked for
now,
patio.
Do you think that all of the work he did is defective?
It's all defective.
How do you know? Did you have someone look at it?
Yes, I had an inspector come out, and everything has to come out of the basement. It all has to be removed by a licensed, certified person.
All right. Do you have that now? Did you give all your information to Home Advisor?
I'm in the process of doing that right now.
Do you understand what happens when you go and fill that out on Home Advisor? They literally just blindly mail it out to people who have signed up, and they get your lead, and all it is a text or an email, and then they just simply call you. So this is the problem. Now, we need to reach out to this plumber or this alleged plumber and find out what he's going to do, or if he has any money to return. Let's get him on the air. What's his name, Rita? What's his name?
His name is Jesse Jones of Jones Plumbing.
Jesse Jones, Jones Plumbing, Jesse James, it should be, right?
Yeah, right.
Jesse Jones, Jones Plumbing. Well, let's see what he has to say. But you had an actual plumbing inspector, right?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
And a plumber, a licensed plumber.
Okay, Suzanne, let's call the guy and see, or maybe, you know, Deputy Dan wants to call him if you're too busy there. Carl, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. So I work in law enforcement in the state of Colorado, and currently work as a detective in financial crimes.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do.
You know, I'd like to know, seriously, we come across, and if you listen to the show, you know, we come across so many financial crimes, and you guys, it's hard for you guys to stay on top of them.
It is. It is.
Almost impossible, wouldn't you say? I mean, really. So anyway, what's going on?
So I just wanted to relay a story connected to Home Advisor. Several years ago, when I was in a patrol capacity, I got a call from one of our citizens who wanted to report the whereabouts of a wanted person. It was a male. She had hired him to re-side and re-roof her house, and he didn't do a very good job and walked away with thousands of her dollars. And he was unresponsive to, you know, complaints regarding the workmanship and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
She had pretty much, you know, kind of resigned to the fact that she was out her money, but she started doing some research about the person and found on her own that he was possibly wanted out of the state of Texas. So she called our agency. She had a possible address for him and wanted us to go find him. And so, of course, the first thing we're going to do is verify, you know, that the warrant actually exists. And we did learn that this person had a $800,000 bond on a nationwide extraditable warrant out of Texas related to...
Now, let me ask you something, and I don't mean to heap it on Home Advisor, but they would have been able to know. We know this stuff when we do our background checks. Why would they have somebody like that on their list?
Yeah, I'm not sure. But I was able to find him and arrest him, and you know, the whole way during the transport to jail, he kept saying, you know, officer, I want you to know that this isn't the type of person I am. I'm a very respectable businessman, and he claimed that he was the #1 roofing and siding person according to Home Advisor in the town that I'm in, and I had that exact same question for myself: is if this senior citizen...
It's easy to do a background check. It's easy. Mark, how long does it take us to background check people, or Suzanne? What does it take? Usually a half hour tops, if we even have to go extra digging, right?
Sure.
It's just crazy. So anyway, what happened? What happened with this guy? Did you get justice for this woman?
Well, you know, unfortunately, when you're looking at contractor fraud cases, there's kind of a fine line between, you know, has the person actually done the work that they contracted to do? And there's a big difference between poor workmanship and no work done at all, no materials delivered at all. So that's kind of on a case-by-case basis that we have to look at those things. So she did not choose to file any kind of police report regarding contractor fraud. Like I said, I think she had resigned that she was out her money, but she wanted to get justice in her own way by having this man's out-of-state warrants taken care of, and that's what we did for her.
Well, at least you got him. Thank you, Carl. And by the way, Carl, financial crimes. When you guys get calls, and be honest about it, I know you'll be honest. When you get a call from somebody like me who does this, or a TV station or something, and they say, hey, we found out this guy took a lot of money, or did this, or did that. Is it oh-hum, ho-hum? I mean, in other words, which ones do you choose to investigate? Because we have so many, Carl, where people put money down and the people are in violation of the Contractors Trust Act. Can you go after people for that?
Absolutely.
But do you?
I've worked several cases regarding house painters and building construction guys, roofers.
But it gets old, doesn't it?
If there's a case there. It's a lot of work. You know, we have to pull financial records and find out how the money was spent, and, you know, try to show that the person was spending money on something other than the project or on somebody else's project instead of the one that they were hired for. So each case has to be evaluated on its own merit.
And I mean, it is really hard, isn't it? I mean, honestly, it is very difficult, isn't it, to prosecute these?
It can be, yes.
But God bless you for the work you do, Carl, because, I mean, I didn't know I mean, do all departments have an economics crime unit?
I think most of your larger agencies will have a few detectives dedicated to financial crimes. We're fortunate enough to be able to dedicate ourselves to that. Smaller departments,
all right,
you know, the investigators might have to work whatever they're assigned to, but we're lucky enough to dedicate our time to it.
Thank you. Man, Mark, I mean, they could be full-time just on our show. Really. Economic crimes. They take money, they do nothing. Randy, what's going on with you?
Tom, I've been on the HOA board for 9 years, president for several of those. I've got some experience with what you guys have been talking about.
Okay, could you hold? Because I'd love to talk to you if you have experience on the board. I'd like to talk to you about management companies. I'd like to talk to you about runaway board members or whatever. We got a lot to talk about. Anything you want, problems, questions, or complaints. We want to hear about it, and we want to help you. That's what we do. At 303-713-TALK. 713-8255. Joe Lazara is a criminal defense attorney. So if you are accused of a crime and you need help, call Joe. Now listen, no one's encouraging crime or drinking and driving or any of that, but we can't deny that people deserve a defense. You're not always guilty when charged. And even if you were drinking and did a stupid thing, let Joe Lazara at least get you through the system, because you can't do it on your own. Joe Lazara, 303-429-6200. You can find Joe on my referral list at referralist.com, or Lazara, that's 2 Z's and 1 R, LazaraLegal.com, 303-429-6200.
We're starting the holidays early to help one of Colorado's favorite charities, Firefly Autism. Join us for the Home for the Holidays kickoff party presented by Peak Properties Group, Wednesday, October 25th at T Street Roadhouse in Lakewood. 4:30 to 7, free beer, wine, and munchies. More at fireflyautism.org.
Mark, I found a site, Tom Martino, for
where I can make any background transparent
more than 30 years in all areas of business, except when it comes to the IRS. I refer them to Larson Tax Relief. If you owe back taxes, if it's years and miles.
Must be getting hungry.
Relief from your tax debt problems. Larson will get you the absolutely best possible resolution. You won't have to worry about.
So Matt Plummer, we're going to try to call him back again at 12:45. He was in the middle of something.
Thousands and thousands of dollars. I trust Ron and Jack Larson and their team of experts, and you can too.
So the plumber was available, huh?
He was available, and he said he would come on.
So good. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt, because like Mark says, these guys always want to do the best.
Right, Mark? I do got a list of the stuff, and it doesn't sound like he did too many things correctly. Put a French drain in with no slots. No piping.
Franchise owners in this area. It's no secret Americans spend lavishly on their pets. As much as $66 billion annually, and that number has grown every year, even in challenging economic times. Pet Supplies Plus is a premier retail franchise with over 29 years of experience. Our ability to source new and exciting products, keep prices competitive, and provide a fantastic customer experience is a premium. We were ranked by Entrepreneur Magazine as the #1 franchise opportunity in the pet category. Franchisees with some of America's biggest brands have added Pet Supplies Plus to their portfolio. Find out why at PetSuppliesPlusFranchise.com. That's PetSuppliesPlusFranchise.com. PetSuppliesPlusFranchise.com.
Two things happen when you get a DUI. A criminal
criminal charge and a civil proceeding against your license. Get an experienced detective attorney.
My son has one of those fake service dogs.
Does he? What do you mean a fake one?
Well, he sent for a card on it, and he's got it on his thing, and he brings it to class, because he lives at CSU.
And you're telling us a lot about your son. He's pretty much a scammer.
This new law sets forth fines, and if someone challenges him, I don't know how you take him to court, if it's not certified by a physician related to the disability, whatever.
I've always told him.
There's major fines in this now with that new law. Yeah.
Do they give a warning, or?
These processes can be laid out, can be, should be, and all that.
You're right.
But it does lay out provisions to fine. It's called misrepresentation of service animals is the law.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. There's one that says that.
Yeah, I have the number. Right. I looked it up over on here. Yeah.
So I got to have them tell them to learn to pick up keys.
Well, even if it did pick up keys, if it's not certified by the physician or whoever these people, it lays out who can certify that he needs it. Yeah.
So they passed it and they put it in effect that day?
If you look it up, I think it's on my website.
Because normally I thought they usually put dates on these things and stuff that they're going to kick in.
Do you give up $900 to get $3,100 instead of $4,000? Wait. You owe a company who did your basement $4,000. You have an issue with the door that you say they ruined. That's $900. As the company, do you just take the $3,100 and forget about it? Or do you actually go through the whole lien period, take them to court, or do you just eat the $900? What would you do?
First of all, why are they settling for less? Is the guy for sure going to pay them? I mean, excuse me. Will the guy settle for less?
He would settle. He would pay them the $3,100.
I meant he would pay them.
He would pay them the $3,100. What happened is one of the contractors, they both agree, left the basement door open. A big gust of wind comes along and blows it off the hinges, or bends it, warps it in some way.
Right.
So
he'll pay him $3,100.
He'll pay him, but technically, because he had to buy a new door from Home Depot, that cost $900. So if you think about it, technically the wind took the door off, right?
Do you want that little elf in everything? Just tell me, in everything.
I think they do. Personally, I don't.
I got to ask you something. I'm Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, your consumer advocate, going on 40 years, recovering hundreds of millions of dollars. Please tell people about the show. Do you understand? It makes me feel so good when people say, I heard the show and I didn't do this, or I did do this, and it helps them. Or they use the referral list and they have a wonderful time, and they don't get ripped. They don't get money up front and have somebody disappear. Mark, what did you want to ask me?
Okay, listen, you got to answer this. So you have your basement done by a company, okay? It gets all the way done, but
you're handling this problem.
Yeah, I'm curious what you think.
Okay.
So there's different aspects to it. So at the bottom, the basement's done, and the basement.
Yes, sir.
It's all finished.
Yes.
At one point, though, one of the subcontractors, or even maybe your own employee, I'm saying to the basement company,
what happened?
Leaves the door open. A big gust of wind comes through, and because it wasn't locked,
damaged.
The door gets warped. Okay,
got it.
You replace a hinge on it so it'll close again, but you can actually see that the door is a little warped.
Okay.
You owe $4,000 when the job's done. The consumer says, or the guy you built it for says, well, we're not going to pay for that door.
Why?
Well, they're saying because the wind blew it open, it was an act of God, which in a way, it's kind of weird.
Was it blew open, or was it open ajar and then blew open?
It was ajar and then it blew open.
But was it ajar overnight or something? I mean, did he leave
I don't know the answer to that, nor do I think it matters.
Well, here's what
it should have been closed.
But here's what I mean, Mark. If you're walking in and out working on the place,
yes,
having it ajar is not as negligent.
No, I think
they for the night.
They left.
Then
whether it was for the night or for lunch or for the day they left.
Okay.
Okay, so homeowner says, hey,
I don't think the contractor's responsible. I don't think they did anything.
That's right. But here's my whole point, though. Do you get rid of it for $900? This particular one, they ordered another door from Home Depot. Home Depot's going to come, install the door, total door price is going to be $900. They still owe you $4,000. Do you go through the entire lien process, take them to court, try to win in court, which most likely they will win, or do you just collect $3,100 and call it over? What do you do?
Well, it depends on, really. I mean, I think
do you make a business decision or an emotional decision?
I would take the $3,100 and walk on. And
if I could get certified funds, I'd take it and run.
But the way I would do it is, though, I would want the homeowner to know, listen, I'm very terribly sorry. I want it to count for something if I'm going to give in.
Yep.
I don't want them to say you're the lousy
They're never going to be happy again. It's already past that point.
Well, see, it should have never gotten past that point.
And it did get past that point, and whose fault that is, I have no idea.
Okay,
there was other issues.
Hold on.
Everything becomes an issue, of course.
Then at that point, I take it to court.
And
if I'm going to be a bad guy anyway, let's go to court.
And if they left it open, how do you think a judge would see that? So they left the door open, a big gust of wind comes.
Leaving a door open, if it was, I said, it depends on when it was left open. Yep. So I don't know the answer.
I don't think they could win.
If they left it open overnight,
I don't think the homeowner can win. I don't think they have a chance.
I think the homeowner can if he left the job with the door ajar. If he just
overnight.
Left it, yeah. Or if he left the job for the evening and left it ajar, I would say that's pretty negligent. But if he's just working and went out for lunch, first of all, why did they leave it ajar? Do they know?
He screwed up. He thought he closed it. Maybe he went up through the stairs instead of out through the back door.
God, everyone is always looking for somebody to pin it on. And so let's go to Randy. Randy, you were on a board for how many years?
9 years. And,
okay.
3 years as president of the board.
What do you want to talk about specifically?
Well, people think that they don't have options with these management companies, and I want to let everybody know that they do.
Well,
because we switch management companies.
We know they do. We know they do. I'm just saying practically it's a pain in the ass, isn't it, Randy?
It is a pain, but they have to keep your records, and everybody on the board should be keeping their records as well. All their meeting minutes, everything, all their emails, they should be keeping all that stuff too as a reference. You don't just throw it away.
Right. But it's really important that you had a board that was proactive. But how many times do boards...
Not always. And that's the biggest pain. You hit the nail right on the head earlier when you said most people, and this applies to the vast majority of people in HOAs, they are apathetic. They don't care. Don't bother me. I don't want to be involved with whatever's going on.
And that's hard, man. When that happens to you, that's difficult.
And that makes it so hard to make rules, enforce rules, and all that stuff for the betterment of the entire community, because people, for the most part, only care about themselves, what they want, and they don't want to be bothered.
Well, I mean, you're right. Now what? Now we know you're right. We know you're absolutely right about it. So
you just have to. It's so important to get good board members on there that are out for the entire community and not just. You're talking about that corrupt lady earlier when I first tuned in, and yes, that kind of stuff happens, and that's when the rest of the board, not the rest of the board, the rest of the community, all the people in the HOA have to get together and say, you know what, we're tired of this. We need to make a change, and it can be done. But it requires effort, which is so hard to...
Yes, it is. It is. And thank goodness for people like you, and I mean that. I personally don't want to be on a board and be bothered, but I do care, and so I'm like in between. But man, it's so hard. You give so much of your time, Randy, when you do stuff like that. Bill wants to switch to liability, whatever that means. You have a question about liability?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Tree on my neighbor's property. It's right on the fence line. It hangs over into my yard also. Okay. Now, if he brings a tree trimmer, I told him I want to see proof of insurance, which I never did. He never produced it. If he was to fall out of the tree onto my property...
Well, what is he doing for you? Is he...
No, not me, nothing. My neighbor's got the guy...
He's pruning his tree.
He's pruning your neighbor's tree?
Correct.
Okay.
So if he falls out of the tree into my property, am I liable?
Why would you be? Of course not. Liability doesn't exist just because you're there or because you own something. No, I mean, how could you possibly have contributed to that?
Well, I don't know. I thought that...
Just because it's on your property? What if an airline crashes on your property?
Well, no,
seriously. Are you liable for the people on the plane?
No.
Okay, so this guy falls out of a tree on your property. What's the difference?
Okay, well, I don't know. That's why.
It's not your tree. It's nothing. He's hanging over your property and falls onto your lawn.
No, but if he cut that limb partially and the guy walked out on it, there could be liability. If he had something to do with the guy falling.
Yes, if Bill contributed to it in some way. You know, liability is not just what they call strict liability. It has to be contributed to in some way, unless a law defines something as strict liability. If the law defines something as strict liability, that's a whole different story. Hey, we've been talking a lot about construction, so I love talking about the good guys. Genesis Total Exteriors. They have solar windows that are passive solar that are wired into the grid, even if you don't have a system, and even if you don't use them. They will be wired into the grid so they generate credits for you, and over time they pay for themselves. It's a real deal. Plus, they do basements, siding, windows, gutters, painting, desks, baths, basements, whatever you need. GenesisTotalExteriors.com, 303-679-8509.
That was a great analogy.
But wasn't it weird though, the way he's asking the question?
Right.
Well, it's possible though. It could be his fault.
Right.
If it's a small plane and he's shining, and he's shining a laser in the pilot's eyes. He's flying a drone over his house. The drone hits the plane. Plane crashes into his yard. Bills and phone.
You forgot to tell us that stuff.
And he left that out. It's the jet engine falls in the back.
Right now we've got overcast skies and Mile High District, and we're sitting at 40 with your traffic and weather. I'm Pete Wagner. 6:30 K-How. As a busy parent, taking your child's temperature.
I'm not even hungry.
Gets stressful is fighting through traffic. With the Exegene
Not hungry at all.
scanner thermometer, one gentle scan of the.
I'm fasting.
Are you?
3 days.
Are you? That's why we've had the black shirt.
He starts tomorrow. He's only going to.
No, I started this morning. That was my cross. I had breakfast, so I'm going to start.
Okay, well, your breakfast.
You've
You've got to go to the next day.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you think you're doing 3?
No.
When are you going to? When are you eating
Do you have
again?
creamer?
When are you eating again? Wednesday.
Breakfast Wednesday.
See, I won't eat till
mark up that granite at all.
Wednesday, 6, 7 o'clock.
You going 3 days?
You are.
What do you find to accomplish?
It's good for you. It tricks your body into going into ketosis. It puts it into starvation mode, which brightens your senses, makes you know math better. Trivia comes.
Has it worked yet?
Just wait till tomorrow.
We'll know Wednesday.
We'll see how smart we are
Blah,
tomorrow.
blah, blah, blah. I've heard people can just start talking Japanese and have never spoke Japanese before. Running marathons.
So George got smarter when he went on.
He was on a no-sex diet.
That's right.
That's right. I forgot about that. He started solving the world's problems.
Right.
Saved a lot of money, too.
That is funny. No, it's good for you, though. Didn't Gandhi, go, forever or something?
Well, I think he did it on a regular basis, yeah.
Tom says he's doing it, but we'll see.
Yeah. How do you keep this thing honest?
I thought we knew the picture.
Mine's easy. My wife will know. Have a Snickers bar. Why do it? I mean, what's the purpose of not? What would be the purpose if it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although I don't trust Dan. He said he already had breakfast this morning.
I did have breakfast. I did.
Well, breakfast counts.
I know it. That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go till Wednesday breakfast.
Okay.
I'm only doing 2 days. I'm not doing 3 days. I've done the fastest.
Now, do you technically fast 72 hours if you just count the hours you're not eating? So in other words, if you eat breakfast and then you eat lunch, you count the 5 hours in between towards the 72 hours. Did we discuss the rules?
Yeah, I fasted for 48 hours, but it was over a week.
That's what I'm saying. Because I would guess most of us fast 6.5 days every week.
Some people are serial eaters, but
I never stop. Man, I got a sister-in-law. Holy moly, that woman.
How big is she?
She's so big. She's got her own zip code. Now that's big. You get it? Her own zip code, Tom?
America's #1 mattress manufacturer.
Did it go over your head? I still don't think he gets the shoe joke. Dan can look at your shoes. It's incredible and tell you where you got them. How does anybody do that? That's why he's here. He's got these kind of things.
Why don't you take the credit first?
I set it up. I don't want to have any part of it. Oh, yeah. That's because he does it with the shirt. Tom can look at your shirt and tell you where you got it. I'm surrounded by talent. Between the two, I know where the wardrobe came from.
I'm Tom Martino. Welcome. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Okay. Paul. What's going on with you, Paul?
Hey there, sir.
What's happening?
I have an issue with my Honda Pilot.
Yeah?
I called back a while ago, and it's been misfiring. And
Let's
we
see.
did a bunch of diagnostic works ourselves, kind of between a couple different shops.
Now, did you call on car day?
I did.
Yeah, I remember it.
And so it was misfiring, and it continued to keep misfiring, and took it to the dealership to hope they could figure it out, since that's what they do. And they came back with the diagnosis that it needed all 6 new coils.
6 coils. What engine is this?
It's the 3.5-liter V6.
3.5 V6, and on your Honda Pilot, okay?
Yep.
So what did it turn out to be?
Did they do the coils?
No, because we've already messed with it enough to know that the coils weren't the issue. And I told them that multiple times.
Well, why don't you take it to one of our shops on the referral list? I mean, are you close?
No, none of them are very convenient. I live up in Thornton.
Huh, we have people up there. We have people up north.
But,
I'm just saying that I'd like to get some, I mean, or SOS inspections. Yeah.
It's fixed now.
Oh, how'd you fix it?
So we took it back to one of the shops that we worked with before, after we told the dealership not to fix the coils, because they wanted like $1,000 for all 6 new coils.
Gosh.
Took it to a different shop. He looked at it, and $300 later, it was a bad wire going to the coil itself.
And wait, so one bad wire, and that's
was causing it to misfire in that cylinder.
No, I got you.
Which then, once it started to misfire in that cylinder, caused the other cylinders to start to misfire because they're trying to make up for it and whatnot.
That makes sense. So what's the question?
He wants his diagnostic feedback.
How much was it?
Yeah. 160 after tax. Like,
you know what their argument's going to be is, hey, we'd get in there, we'd do that coil,
I know.
and basically then they would find it out. So it's a tough one, man.
They would have done all the coils, which he didn't need. I mean, it's clearly a misdiagnosis. Do you have that diagnosis in writing?
Yes.
Have you asked them for a refund?
Have you gone back with that diagnosis?
I have not yet. So that I kind of wanted to get your opinion on it first before I go in there and see kind of what the consensus would be.
Well, I would go and say, look, you know, I paid for this diagnosis, and it cost me this much money. This is what you told me I needed, and this is what I actually needed. I would just say, look, I got no service here.
Here's what your
argument. What are you going to do about it?
Here's what their argument might be, though, is, hey, if you approved that work, we would have got in there. We would have found out it was this.
I know.
We would have never have charged you for the coils.
Yeah, I've heard that before from shops. They say, well, how do you know what we would have done once we got involved? Like your other guy, how did he find it? What did he do to find it?
Probably replaced the coils.
Did he?
Had the same problem.
He already knew what we had done, so he knew that that wasn't an issue. So he started to go down the other routes. Because, I mean, we'd gone through coils, plugs, EGR valve, valve adjustment, TSB that was on the car for a misfire, everything. And so he took it for a drive, saw the engine code come on, and then hunted down that. It was a low voltage is what he ended up seeing in that coil wire.
What sucks
I'm just wondering, though, because Mark has a point. They could say they would have eventually come to the same conclusion. You didn't give him a chance. You gave that other mechanic a lot of chances.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're going to say. I don't listen. I think in this case, because they said all new coils, if you have that in writing, I would say you have a good chance of getting your.
What did they say was wrong with those coils?
Just that they were bad.
I would agree then. You know what? If they're saying all those coils are bad,
all of them,
they're going to say, yeah, but think of what he's saying. When they tested them, they were all bad.
Your coils were not working at the time they tested them, right? Your guy kept going because he knew they had tested them before. So
they should have known, though, not every single coil is going to go out at the exact same second.
And isn't there a way to examine those coils?
Well, I want to say that they were saying that 3 of them were bad, because I told them that we'd already replaced 3 of them. So they were saying that they wanted to do all of them, though, because they hadn't done the 3 that we had already replaced.
I'd ask them for the money back. I mean, that's the first thing you do.
It was $149, you say? Or $160?
Yeah, after tax, it was like $180.
$180? Well, that's a lot of money. I mean,
tell them you want it back, or you're going to camp out front and tell everybody walking through that shop what the hell they did.
No.
That's what I'd do.
They've already got a not-so-great review on Google. So.
Who is it?
AutoNation on 104th.
Yeah,
they're pretty good, actually.
I know they are. Listen. I don't think they're trying to cheat
In fact,
you.
I'd go this far. I would guess if you ask them, they'll refund you the $149 if you show them proof.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Well, and that's one of the things I've kind of waited for now. So we've driven the car probably close to 200, 250 miles. And, I mean, it came on 1.7 miles after he got in the car. So it's fixed, and it has not come back.
Yeah, bring them the receipt from the people that fixed it, and then bring that estimate and go down, talk to the service manager. I'd be shocked if they didn't refund it, and if they don't, call us back. We've got an angel over there, or maybe I'll let you borrow Deputy Dan. He can go down there and twist some arms.
I think you'll get your money back, though. You will. 303-713-TALK. Go ahead. Eric, what did you want to say, Eric?
Hey, Tom.
Hey.
So you and I have gone back and forth on HOAs for years. And, you know, I mean, I've been on my board for 15 years. I've been the board president for 14. And the apathy from homeowners, no matter what.
I agree.
That's the biggest problem.
I agree.
And, you know, when you guys are talking about, like, with management companies, you have to be strong with your management company. And the management company has to realize that you are in charge. And I have argued with the owner of our management company and told them, 10 years ago, we almost quit them. We were looking for a new company, and when they found out why, I
agree. I agree. HOAs are in charge, and owners are apathetic. So we agree on 2 points. I don't mean to rush you, but we're going to be out of time anyway. If you have other specific points to make, I mean, there is no disagreement there. We have more coming up.
Are you retired or planning
for retirement? Retirees have lots of financial questions.
That licensing fee for management company is fairly recent, right? 2 years?
Hi, I'm Linda Gardner.
2015.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah. And it's a very low fee.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
Are you talking? Did you say for management companies?
Yes.
There's many fees. You got to pay a background check. You got educational courses. You got a licensing fee. You got renewal fees. You got continuing education fees. And one of the problems is the way it is deployed or applied. The smallest management company, let's just say you manage 5 units, for example, and this Hammersmith does 50,000 units. You pay the same and have to go through totally the same requirements, and we tried to get that fixed, and unsuccessfully. So what people do, they operate under the table right now. They just quit the profession. Well, they don't get a license and they continue their work. Okay. Anyway, a bunch of those types of problems.
We got rid of our management company because of it.
We fired ours about 2 years ago. We had Hammersmith, Smith, whatever the hell it is, and that was an easy transition. I can tell you about another one where the management company just walked out, just left. And the new one had to go over there and retrieve the records and
It's very costly. I can see where the board should say, okay, we want documentation upgraded every month or something at the board meeting or whatever.
Well, that's in the contract. You got to look at your contract you sign, and there's some templates out there on mandatory requirements.
What are you wearing?
What's that?
Why are you wearing gloves?
It's just I'm cold all the time.
Oh. He's going to do some boxing.
She's in training.
Did he show you that video?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if I put it in your IM and Tom's. There's a guy recently sentenced in Denver, in Arvada, for having over 40,000 pieces of porn, child porn. So his bio kid's stepdad is on line 3, trying to figure out how to get permanent custody of this kid and get so they can. The guy who was sentenced, the stepdad of the child, is on the show, right? I think he wants like permanent. So yes, but he wants permanent because of course they want to change this kid's last name so it's not the same last name as the bozo. Ledbetter.
Just like
so I sent the news article
guy
to you.
Lane, that had the same last name as the serial killer.
Rippin. It was Rippin, right? New York was,
same thing.
Tom might even know him.
Serial
killer in New
the
York.
real serial killer in New York. The Lopper. It wasn't the Lopper though. It
wasn't the Lopper.
Ah.
What do you mean the real serial?
It was a real serial
killer called Rippin. Is his last name?
Well, there's all kinds of serial killers.
Yeah, but this was in New York. It was in Seinfeld.
Long time ago.
Oh.
And Elaine was going with them, and he had the same name as that.
But it was a real.
It was a real.
They really pulled it from the headlines.
Yeah. Which most of the time they do. Remember
Joel Rifkin.
Rifkin. Joel Rifkin.
I don't remember the Rifkin case. How old is it?
I'm looking right now.
He
was sentenced to 203 years in prison for the murders of 9 women between 89 and 93. So you were here. You were already here. He was a typical would hire sex workers and kill them, I guess.
Which is why I'm doing it myself. I just watched one last night where she goes, maybe the dingo ate your baby.
Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
And that was a true story.
That was a true story, too. But it turns out, years later, you ready for this? She sued him and won over $1 million.
You would look that up. Wow. I remember you said that.
Because it turns out
the dingo did eat her baby.
Well, the dingo did eat her baby. He came and took it away in the middle of the night. That's crazy, man. That's a real story. That's a real story.
Hi, Tom Martino. Welcome to the show. I'm your consumer advocate fighting crime and corruption and liars and cheats and ripoffs and making life a little easier for you. All you have to do is call and we will solve your problems if we can. Now, most of the time we will. We also want to make that deal for you. If you have something you're ready to buy and you have your best price, but you're ready to buy, not shopping, but ready to buy, give us one last chance to beat that deal. And most likely we can. Today we're talking about HOA matters, homeowners associations, and more. Stan Rinzovich is with us, and he is on a personal campaign to inform people about HOAs, and it's a hobby, but it's real. It's a real deal. He's got a 501(c)(3) HOA. It's a 501(c)(3), right, Stan? An LLC. I'm sorry, I thought it was a... Okay, it's ColoradoHOAForum.com. He educates people and has seminars with people about HOAs. Yes.
I feel the need to tell people the reason he's so involved in this is he basically was in an HOA. They had a newsletter that they sold advertisements in. He wanted to know why one realtor was always getting the best placement on there and they wouldn't open the books up. I mean, that's it in a nutshell, right?
Right, and I pursued this, was also looking at the income from those ads that were placed in our newsletter.
And they wouldn't share it.
Eventually we went in the court and I lost for no particular reason, and thus the organization.
I just want people to know you didn't wake up one day and just say, hey, I'm going to go after all these HOAs.
Now, if you have any HOA issues or questions, give us a call. I am going to take your calls and others as well about any problems, okay? Now, we do have one thing that is really, really in the news and controversial. And back in April, I believe, this guy was sentenced to 27 years in jail. And it was 2 years after he was arrested in a child pornography sting that recovered 40,000 explicit photos and videos.
He was actually just sentenced.
Oh, I thought he was sentenced back in July, but he was sentenced...
I'm confused on the article now. It says April, but I know I saw it recently.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's pretty recent, right?
It's recent.
Yeah, and he was arrested in...
In April 2015, investigators learned that someone had been streaming child porn from his house.
Oh, God. All right. So this guy from Arvada, Todd Ledbetter, pleaded guilty to sexual exploitation of a child distribution and sexual exploitation of a child in possession of pornography and all of that. So now... That man had a son, and his son has a mom, and his mom is married to this guy that we're going to talk to. And this is Dan. Dan is the stepfather of this pervert's son. And what's going on, Dan?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. What's going on with you? How can we help you, sir? This is a terrible story. Now, how old is your stepson?
She's actually a girl.
Oh, I'm sorry, stepdaughter. I said a stepkid. Okay, stepdaughter. How old?
Yeah, she is 7. Just turned 7 in September.
And she doesn't know anything about her dad, does she? Her biological dad?
Yeah, I mean, she knew him up until basically he was arrested. We didn't know he was involved in all this, and we were trying to allow him to see his daughter from time to time and build a relationship. Upon his arrest, we were absolutely stunned at the sheer amount of activity he had in this. And
I'm curious. So, your wife was married to him for a while in the past. She never had a suspicion. What's that? Oh, she was never married to him?
No.
Oh, okay. But she knew him, obviously. Did she ever have a suspicion he was a weirdo?
Yes, I mean, she caught him one time looking at something questionable on his computer, and that was the last time that they had ever really had any kind of contact as far as, being involved in each other's lives. She out he was at the time.
Okay, your phone is... Okay, so your phone is cutting in and out. So let's cut to the chase here. This is important. You want to adopt... Absolutely. You want to adopt your daughter.
Absolutely.
How long have you been the stepdad?
I've been in her life since she was 3. So.
And you are now married to mom?
Correct.
The biological mom. And is the biological dad, is he going to oppose this?
Yes, he's already filed motions against it. We've yet to go to court on it, but he's filed motions against it.
I wonder if a conviction like this could terminate his parental rights.
I'm going to call Bonnie and Joe.
That's what we're trying to do.
It seems reasonable, doesn't it? He's going to be in prison for 27 years. He's trying to stop it. What is he saying? Is he saying he wants to maintain a relationship?
Yeah, he said that we've cut off contact with him and have changed our phone numbers, which we haven't. And, he's taking all kinds of allegations. They're all false. And what difference does it make he's in prison?
I happen to see this in social media. I saw this in social media somewhere. Did you guys post this on Facebook?
We sure did. We're trying to get it out there because we don't, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm going into court on my own at this point because I cannot afford a lawyer and haven't found anyone who could work with us on this case. And I don't want to lose to a scumbag like this because he's asked for a court-appointed attorney.
Yeah, so he gets a court-appointed attorney, and you have to fight for yourself. It's going to be an interesting issue. Let's try to get some legal advice here. Hold on a second. We'll find a couple of attorneys, one in criminal defense, and we'll find one in family law. And Joe Lazaro knows a little bit about family law, too, and then we have Bonnie Shields. So hold on, Dan. This is interesting. What does terminate parental rights when it comes to crime? I don't think it does. Does it automatically? A crime? Murder? What would terminate? Incest would, because that would be a dependency and neglect kind of thing.
The death penalty would probably end that relationship.
Yes, but he's not getting the death penalty. He's getting 27 years. This is child pornography. We're talking about...
You would think because it would be a child at risk if it's child pornography, right?
Yeah, but he's never going to see... That's the other thing. He's not going to see her. Except, I mean, Dan, is he asking for visitation, Dan?
Yes, he is.
He wants visitation with his daughter. And how does that work in the prison system, visitation? Do you know?
I have no clue, but he's down in Ordway, Colorado, about 2.5 hours away. I'm not driving down there just to see this scumbag.
Well, man, I don't blame you. And by the way, we all share your opinion. God, I mean, it just is incredible to the concept. And now the guy's fighting. People might say, look, he deserves at least to be a dad. Who? What people? I don't know. Maybe somebody would think that. He's going to have to get somebody to fight for him, a court-appointed attorney.
Over 40,000 images and videos they found on this guy's computer.
I know it. 40,000.
Yeah.
So he was distributing as well. Okay, hold on. We'll try to get somebody on to talk about that, Dan. We have somebody with a HOA issue. This is Greg. Greg, go ahead. What's your issue, Greg?
I own a townhouse in the Lakewood Golden area.
Yes.
And all of the asphalt for the whole complex was replaced over a year ago.
Okay.
And my particular unit had a protective fence on both sides of my carport. After the asphalt was replaced, they selectively replaced people's protective fences. And they, in a nutshell, they refused to replace both of my fences, just one of them. So
they did one of them, but not the other.
Correct.
How did they make the decisions on what fences to replace and which ones to keep?
Well, in some of the paperwork, we've been emailing back and forth. In some of the emails, they claim that my fence was not original construction. And I don't know how they determined that or not.
So it wasn't original, therefore they will replace it?
No, because it wasn't original, they won't replace it.
Oh, they're saying we're only going to replace the HOA fencing. And if you since added fencing, we're not going to replace it. I get it. They're saying...
I didn't add the fencing. It's been there for about at least 18 years. That's how long I've owned the property.
And how did they determine it?
They won't tell me. They just said we researched it and we found out it wasn't original. And then in their board minutes, and I'm reading a quote from the president here. He said, Rob, the president, said the homeowners that have paid for dividing fences and carports will be replaced through the project. There are two with no determination as to who paid for them, and they will not be replaced. I'm assuming one of those was mine. But anyway, I'm feel confident that having that extra fence added value to my property, and now the property is diminished in value.
The fence is still there. It's just the old fence, right?
No, they took down all the fencing.
Oh.
And they just replaced one of them.
Oh. And where was this fence exactly? One on one side of the garage, one on another?
Well, it was a covered, it was a carport with a covering, and then it had protective fencing on both sides.
You mean on the left and right side of the car?
Correct. It's a two-car carport, and there was fencing on both sides to protect from wind and snow and et cetera.
So it was inside the carport, so to speak.
Well, it's, yeah, I don't know how...
It makes up the carport.
Like a divider?
Yes, they're divider fences or protective fences, whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
They're also, they're common elements.
So Stan, I don't even know how he goes about fighting something like this. This sounds like a no-win situation. They've just determined they're not going to do it.
Pretty simple. I think that's right.
I know. I mean, it's like, so how, it's not like...
He didn't incur, he's not showing he incurred a loss of
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at, is that just because it was there, it was not yours, it was the HOA's. or it was on HOA property. So they had a right to remove it to do maintenance, that for sure. And now you're saying they didn't put it back, and they're saying we don't have to, and you didn't lose it because it wasn't yours. You never paid for it. They said the people that paid for it and could show they paid for it, they would replace it. So I understand exactly their reasoning. They're saying, look, we have the right to remove anything on HOA property when we do this maintenance. And then we're only going to replace the stuff that we originally put up, but we'll even replace the stuff people paid for because it's only fair to reimburse them. But they're not going to do it because you don't...
But when he purchased the property, he was also purchasing that benefit.
I mean, you could argue that, but not really, because it was the HOA in general.
The court dismissed his case. You know that? The court dismissed his case.
Oh, he already lost.
Oh, then it's over.
Well,
Yes.
No, they dismissed it for another reason.
What did they dismiss it for?
In my complaint, I mistakenly said that the ownership of the fence was in dispute. And so, of course, the HOA lawyered up.
How much is this fence going to cost you?
About $1,000.
Well, let me just say this. You're never going to fight them for less than that. I mean, in other words, even if you win, you're going to spend more to win than it would cost you to put that fence up. I know that, listen, that's a crappy answer, but it's unfortunately the truth. It truly is the way it is. For you to even fight this and win would cost you a minimum of 10 grand.
And he may end up with the HOA fees assessed to him, which often happens.
Yeah, most HOAs have little ditties in their bylaws that say if you sue them and lose, you pick up the tab. I don't know what to tell you other than you're not going to make them do it. And another thing, just so you know, they don't give a damn about public scrutiny. So if you put up a review or we talk about them on the air, they don't care about that. The only reason we have luck with HOAs, like we did with the one at that we just talked about,
Dakota Station
2, is because it wasn't the public scrutiny they cared about. We were showing that they were legally exposed, and we brought that out, and we went on record and exposed them by giving them knowledge of a potentially dangerous situation that in the future could truly do them harm. But in this case, there is no such issue that we can bring up. I'm sorry about that. I just don't see an issue. 303-713-8255. Al Ramos wants to talk about something very special for new customers at 2 locations near Evans and I-25. It's really just east and then north on Dahlia, or south of Bowles on Santa Fe near Arapahoe Community College there. It's on West Church. He's got 2 locations, 1 phone number, and he's got a new customer special. Is this limited to a certain number, Al?
No, I want to basically let folks try us out. One of the things I wanted to mention also that we do service on vehicles right from the get-go. You don't need to go to the dealer unless it's for free. It's warranty.
Right.
Our stuff won't void your warranty. We have a 3-year, 36,000 miles on all our stuff, but oil change is the most common thing everybody needs to get done. And what we're going to offer is $19.95 synthetic blend oil change with a tire rotation, full inspection, and roadside assistance. Just a great way to get to find out who is this place pro auto care we keep hearing about.
Right, and I want to make that clear. If you have a new car, you can go from the get-go. The only thing you really need to go to a dealer for is warranty work or courtesy services for free. Anything that you have to pay for out of pocket, you can certainly go to anyone, and Al Aramis would gladly keep all your records, and he gives you that roadside assistance and guarantees in between each change and each maintenance and each repair. So give him a call for any and all cars, new and used. 303 Pro Auto, $19.95 for a synthetic blend oil change and tire rotation, checking and topping all the fluids. 303 Pro Auto.
The Highway Drive in fantastic shape in the metro area. If you're heading out for lunch, now's a good time to do it.
dies with a termination of parental rights, that's a...
You know, Rifkin had to do a fight in prison with another serial killer.
Pardon me,
They were
Bonnie
bragging.
Shields is on vacation.
The one guy said, I killed 6 men. All
Joe
you did was
Lazara's
kill
not
women.
answering. Should I put
Rifkin
him
goes,
off?
I killed more
Put the call off,
And
or
then
try maybe
another
John
guy,
Fuller.
Ferguson, punches
Did he
him.
do anything?
And then, since then, Rifkin, I guess, has been a 23-hour lockup. He's not allowed in whatever.
Who would know about
Crazy,
parental
two
rights?
serial
We have
killers.
other attorneys on the
In an argument over
For
who's the worst serial killer,
They could sell tickets for that. Both knives.
You know how that one guy died.
You said that.
Yeah, they impaled him with a broomstick and shoved it all the way his ass until it hit his brain. The guy that ate people, Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer.
That's how they killed him.
In prison, yeah. They impaled him with a broomstick.
Up to his brain?
Well, as far as it went to kill him. I mean, it's got to bust right through everything, right? I guess it wouldn't go through to your brain, but...
They literally...
I worked with a guy who's,
Can you imagine that?
yeah, I mean, he's now in prison. He went to China, adopted 3 girls, brought them home, and physically was having sex with them. I don't know how many years. He's now in prison, but you work with this guy, and he was a little mousy character, right? And one day he didn't come into work. They're hauling his ass off. Isn't that disgusting?
Did the cops show up everywhere at work, too?
No. They got him in his house, apparently. He just didn't show up for work.
You remember when one of Jeffrey Dahmer's friends was having dinner with him? He says, "Man, I don't like your neighbors." He says, "Here, try the vegetables."
It's too early for those jokes.
We gotta be hungrier. Wait tomorrow on fast day.
Then it's not funny. Some kid we beat.
Hi, Tom Martino. Welcome. 303-713-TALK. 303-713-8255. Let's talk. We are trying to get a hold of some legal counsel. We may have to postpone it if we can't. Dan wants to adopt his stepdaughter. The father of this daughter, the biological father of this daughter, is in prison for 27 years, accused of distribution and possession of child pornography. Convicted, actually. Daniel, you want to talk about HOAs? Go ahead, Daniel. We're talking about any and all problems, including, of course, HOAs. Go ahead, Daniel.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
I am in a kind of an HOA nightmare right now. My next door neighbors are the secretary and president of the HOA, and they recently put a pool in, and this is in Phoenix. We're on 0 lot lines. They're saying that, quote unquote, our tree is ruining their life. So they're demanding it to be cut down.
You recently put the tree in?
No, that tree's been there forever.
Oh, then what did they recently do?
Put a pool in.
Oh!
Underneath the tree.
I see. So you have 0 lot lines and no setback for the pool? Is the pool on the line?
Well, yeah, basically everything's on the line in the 0 lot line.
I would think technically he's got to cut those branches down, or they could cut those branches down if they're over the other person's property, right?
Yeah,
well,
technically.
True. I mean, I've never complained about their 60-foot pine tree that I dig out of my pool every week, but...
So you have a pool as well, and they have a tree hanging over your pool?
No, it's just his tree is probably 80 feet tall.
Well, how tall is yours?
Probably 30.
But his doesn't overhang. He's just saying the leaves end up in there, or the needles.
Well, once a year when they pod, they fall in the pool, and it ruins his life.
All right, hold on 1 sec, all right? Because I want to go back to Dan with the adopted child. We do have James Rudaberries from our referral list at referralist.com who does some family law, and we'd want to talk to him. So let's talk to James. James, do you handle custody battles?
Yes, Tom. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, sir. And you also handle You also, have you ever done any adoptions ever, or or adoptions where step parents have adopted their child?
Oh yeah, many times, Tom.
Okay. Well, this is an unusual case. It was in the news. This man who is now in prison for distribution and possession of child pornography, he's in prison. He's convicted. He's done as far as the legal system, the criminal system. But now he is petitioning the courts for parental time. And Daniel is the stepfather, and Dan wants to adopt his daughter, wants to adopt her. He's been in her life since she's been 3 years old. Now, I know when you go after somebody's parental rights, you got to have some pretty strong evidence to terminate, parental rights, right? And I'm not sure of a conviction. I know this sounds crazy, but I'm not sure if a conviction of child pornography is enough to terminate his rights, frankly. I don't know. And Dan wants to know, what can he do? He wants to go for custody. Let me ask you something, Dan, before James weighs in. When you decided to do this, is that when this perpetrator, is that when he started to make his moves? Was it prompted by you trying to adopt her, or was he doing it before that?
No, it was his responses to, I had to have him served so that he could sign over his rights, and upon having him served, that's when he decided he was going to fight me on it.
Okay, so he was served, and then he decided, I'm not going to give up my daughter, and then when he fought back in the response, did he do a counterclaim? Did he open up a custody battle, or what did he do? I mean, he already has custody, technically. What did he do?
He basically said a bunch of false accusations that we're not communicating with his side of the family. And,
and he wants, he wants to maintain communication, not only with him, but with his family.
True.
Okay. So there you got it, James Rudaberry's attorney at law. What do you think?
Well, I think that clearly you've already started a termination proceeding. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there are two ways to terminate parental rights. The first one is voluntary, which you've already tried. The second one is involuntary, which... Yeah. Apparently, you have already a case going.
Now, for involuntary termination of parental rights, what do you have to show, James? Isn't that a clear and present danger to the child?
Yeah, danger to the child is, obviously the fact there are a number of factors under the statute that the court will look at. One of those, obviously, is being, whether the person has been adjudicated or has been convicted of a offense that would relate to child abuse, and certainly child pornography falls within that arena. The other issue that you may want to kind of look at is he still under the Colorado sexual offender guidelines?
What do you mean by that?
Well, once you get convicted of a sex crime, you go into this sort of it's part and parcel of the statutes, but it's the Colorado sexual offender guidelines. And
well, he's in prison.
And usually, and can be under certain circumstances, put under those guidelines for life.
He's in prison for like 200 years.
He's in prison. Well, it's 27 years he was sentenced. Yeah.
So he's under the Colorado sexual offender guidelines, and those guidelines have certainly real stringent requirements when it comes to communicating and or residing and or being part of a minor child's life.
But if he's in prison, he could actually make the argument that he's safe. I mean, I'm serious, because he's in prison and there's no reason to terminate.
Yeah, but there's not a court that I know in this state that's going to authorize parenting time for a child in prison.
Right. Right.
I mean,
would that? But
the courts, the judges don't.
Is that enough to?
That's what I was going to say, Dan. James, is that enough to terminate rights? The fact that he's in prison and never will be able to see her.
It depends on the type of charges that he's under.
Child abuse. Yeah, he's convicted. He's literally convicted of exploitation of a child and distribution of child pornography.
Tom, he was also in 2003 convicted of sexual assault on a child, a minor he had sex with. So that was his first conviction. He was already
okay, so this is his second. This is his second conviction, James. The first one was having sex with a minor.
I think that's a really, really strong argument for termination. Tom.
Okay, all right. And where do you have to fight this, Dan?
Jefferson County court system.
Oh yeah.
Jefferson County. Okay, James. I know this is a crazy thing, but he needs to know, how expensive can this get? I mean, if this guy's in prison, he can't put up a fight forever, but he's getting free legal help, literally.
Sure. The expense, it depends on a few things, but obviously, you know, if you need to retain a child family investigator to do, you know, a report on this, which if parents can't agree upon parenting time is certainly something that come out. I mean,
he's a prisoner.
$2,500 fee right.
He needs to sign up for legal aid.
He's a prisoner. You know, this guy's not going to have a child family investigator for parenting time.
Right.
He's a prisoner. You know, I don't think he's trying to go for parenting time. I think he's trying not to get the daughter adopted, and he's saying his family should have time with her. I don't think a parent can fight for their family.
Well, that raises another issue, is the standing. Yeah, a parent can't fight for a family. A parent fights for their own rights.
Right,
the family members have their own rights, or at least grandparents do, under a statute.
Okay, well, here's the deal. Thank you very much, by the way. He thinks you have a good case. Daniel, we got to see what we can do to get you some representation. Or maybe we can do a GoFundMe site or something. Seriously, if this guy's getting free legal help, it seems to me that we can get you some help somewhere.
How come he gets free legal help? That part's... Are we sure about that?
Because he's in prison.
So if he wants to sue me, he gets a free attorney?
By the way, Daniel, how do you know he's going to get free legal help? How do you know that? No, it's not for suing. It's not for doing that. But
well, it's not criminal. So what the hell is it?
You're right. Wait a minute. Daniel, how do you know he's getting free legal help? Daniel? We got to get his I got the wrong line. Here he is. There you are, Dan. Go ahead. How do you know he's getting free help?
We don't know for sure if the judge has granted it yet, but he has petitioned a motion against my original filing for adoption to, one of them is to retain a lawyer on his behalf.
But why would he, though? It's a civil case. I don't see why he would be granted an attorney.
I don't either, but the chances are that, so that he doesn't have a chance to repeal the case, in the end, they might give him everything that he asks for.
All right. Okay, we're going to take your information. If we can get any kind of information from people, if you guys have any information, let us know. We got to help this guy. This is ridiculous. God, sometimes I hear cases, I can't believe it. A child pornographer is in prison for distribution and exploitation of children, and he doesn't want this guy to adopt his daughter. What a selfish, narcissistic piece of garbage. Maybe we can talk to this clown. What good is it for him to be a parent for 27 years in prison? What good is it? Jeez. All right, let's talk. This is a great thing from Plumline that you really need to hear. It's such a spectacular offer. Find, fix, or free electrical help. You really have to examine this. Find, fix, or free for $149. Now listen, if you have any kind of electrical problem in your home, you're going to get one of two things. $149 will include the hunting and the fixing, all right? In 85 to 90% of the cases, $149 guaranteed. Now, If it turns out to be major, you'll still get the diagnostics. And if it turns out to be major problems that they can't fix for $149, they will give you a full written report. So you'll get your diagnostic. So no matter what, you have nothing to lose. You either get your electrical problem completely fixed. So if you have a warm outlet, a warm switch, flickering lights, maybe you have something dimming somewhere, or you have sparking or arcing, and you need to get something checked. You know it won't cost you more than $149, or you get a complete free diagnostic. $149, find, fix, or free Plumbline Services. That's what they do. They do plumbing, heating, cooling, electric, and drains. So call them for this special and get an electrician to your home with a guaranteed flat price, or you pay nothing. That's 303-586-1086. 303-586-1086. PlumlineServices.com.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic
Center.
Highway
drive remains in pretty good shape. They went to jail forever. And then you hire a lawyer to divorce the person incarcerated. You're telling me that the damn judge is going to give them an attorney?
I know.
Tom,
You're right.
would you mind giving out his number or web address before I delete his line? He's gone, but
Okay.
root law, it's pretty easy. He told that guy to give me, he goes, tell that guy to give me a call. So, I don't know if he already has an attorney.
We could really make pay with this story if we could help.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
Let's call it. We should get Bonnie. We should get Bonnie involved.
Of course, if she would take
I don't think there'd be much to this, honest to God. Or she's going to know if there is or not. I don't think that last guy was quite understanding.
So let's wait until Bonnie. Where's Bonnie on vacation?
San Fran, yeah. I could text her and ask.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what Jeffrey Dahmer's last words were?
What?
I used to eat guys like you for breakfast. You know what they found during his autopsy?
Oh, you're looking up on that.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah. What did he do after he dumped his girlfriend?
What?
Wipe. That's the most disgusting.
That's very disgusting.
What did they eat at his wake?
Oh, what?
Finger sandwiches and mixed nuts.
Oh, my God.
Check them out at LarsonTaxRelief.com.
Oh, my God.
That's 844-LARSON-TAX. 844-LARSON tax. Larson Tax Relief is the only tax relief and audit organization I endorse on my referral list at referralist.com. Broadcast radio reaches more people in America than TV. Yeah, AM/FM radio. The radio that's...
What shampoo did he use?
And your office.
Head and shoulders.
And millennials. More of everyone. More shoppers. Broadcast radio reaches 94% of Americans. That's bigger than TV, Facebook, and Google.
His favorite recipe. Bobby Bratwurst. Chuck roast. Scrambled legs. Baked Alaskans. Baked Alaskans. Moo Moo guy in a pan. God, that makes me think of that stupid airline story that was real when that newscaster was gone. Big Bang Ouch.
Oh.
Give them the pilots' names.
He too low.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713 Talks. That was James Rudeberries talking about that family law situation. Rootlaw.com. That's R-U-T-E, rootlaw.com. 303-898-2136. 303-898-2136. Now, I know James Rudeberries took that root law because his name is Rudeberries, and it's R-U-T-E-R-B-O-R-I-S-O. But here's the point I'm making. It has nothing to do with James, right? He's a great guy. But he took root law because he figures, hey, that's close to my name. But here's the deal. When you guys are looking for website names and you're in business, it doesn't have to be your name. It doesn't have to be the name of your company. It just has to be something related to what you do.
In fact, it should be something better than your name, like advocate, or I don't know, like custody fighter, or custodyfighter.com, or fast divorces, or I'm just giving stupid examples. But what I mean is, your website does not have to reflect the name. You would be surprised how many people, if they can't get the name, then they go with CTORFT.com, because they think, well, at least I got the initials. It doesn't matter. Make a website name creative or descriptive, like referrallist.com or troubleshooter.com. It doesn't have to be Tom Martino. It doesn't have to be, XYZ Plumbing. It's all right to have that, of course, but then you should have maybe another catchy one to point to it. So let's keep going, all right? Kim, you have a question for Stan, our HOA man. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, Kim. What's happening?
Hi. Yeah, I'm wondering, do zoning laws for the city and state trump HOA?
Of course. Of course they do.
So my HOA is demanding, I want to replace my deck. My steps were done incorrectly from the get-go. I want to go ahead and get the steps correct, and yet I find out that I'm going to have to land on a 36 by 36 inch platform according to zoning.
Which according to zoning?
Right, according to a zoning law.
So zoning. Okay, according to what?
What do you call those? Yeah, it's zoning or
no covenants.
No, if I go down to the city. And
okay.
I went to,
all right.
I need to go and.
Let's put it this way, Kim. Let's just put it this way. Who's requiring the 36 by 36 landing?
A code.
Who is requiring it? Who? City. What entity? Okay. If it's the city, it's either a building code or
Correct.
Some kind of statute. So that's good. So now the city is requiring 36 by 36. And go ahead. What's happening with your HOA?
My HOA is demanding that if I really want to go ahead and do what code says.
Yes.
I have to go ahead and take it off my very small deck so that I don't go any further than I currently am as far as my footprint is concerned.
Kim, I'm not understanding you. Let me ask you this, a very simple question. Code is requiring 36 by 36. What is the HOA requiring?
That I not go ahead and go any further than my current footprint.
She's going to have to make the deck smaller in order to put in that pad to step down on.
Correct. Exactly.
Oh,
and she doesn't want to make her deck smaller.
That's called a code upgrade. Now, let me explain something, because this is really important. If the county said you had to have a 36 by 36 landing, or the city, and the HOA says, no, we want it 48 by 48, they're allowed to do that.
Nope, that's not what they're saying.
I know. Excuse me. I'm just saying because I want to tell you that HOAs can differ from building codes if they're more restrictive.
Yeah.
Okay? But they can't undo a city thing. So what they're saying to you is, if you want that and you have to do the 36 by 36, then it's up to you how to do it, because you're not going to expand your footprint. And they're allowed to do that. They're not trumping any code. They're not saying not to do the 36 by 36.
Although they have already given HOA property and everyone else, it's a 25-unit townhome community.
Finish the sentence. They have already given
HOA infringement rights to other homeowners by allowing them to go on to HOA property.
Okay, so that is a classic argument we get all the time. If they did it for them, why not me? And Kim, that's the biggest frustration with HOAs, because you're right. I have no doubt that they said to other people, go ahead, if you have to make it 36 inches, it's okay if you overlap by 5 or 6 inches. But to others, they say, no way.
But technically, does that even matter?
No, it doesn't.
Of course not.
No, it doesn't.
It's like a cop. You might give one guy a ticket, and another guy goes through and he doesn't give him one.
Here's how it would matter, Kim, is if they gave everyone the right to do that except black people. Or they gave everyone the right to do it except elderly people or some protected class. It really could matter, but it's really weird. So you're telling me other people have done the 36 by 36 landing and they have encroached on HOA property?
Correct.
How many?
But 2 people.
How many?
Myself and the
No,
president
how many
of
have done it? How many have done it? Have
Already?
encroached?
20 out of 25.
Wait a minute. 20 of the 25 people have been allowed to put 36 by 36 pads and encroach on HOA property?
They might be backing up to something completely different, though. Is there a difference?
No. Let me go ahead and back up. 20 out of the 25 units were built correctly and encroach on HOA property as far as the landing. 1 was given the 36 by 36 inch platform from the management company without confirming or conferring with the board of directors and just built it for them. For me, they won't let me do that. They want me to take it off my deck. Please understand that if I take off 36 inches from my deck, when I walk out from or onto the deck from the sliding glass door, that will put my landing before the first step.
The original 20, though. The original 20 don't have a 36 by 36, though, do they?
No, they have about a 18.
Okay. All right, that's different. So really, they did not let 20 people go ahead and do it. And then how many people have applied for what you want to do and got it?
None.
Okay. So then they're
because
not.
They just did it.
So then you're on.
The management company went ahead and gave away for the latest one because the other people aren't replacing their decks.
Right.
They're just fixing their decks.
You're the only one. You're the only one that's doing it. The
There's
full
3
thing.
of us at the same time.
And all 3 of you are being rejected?
Correct.
Yeah. That seems like, I don't think you can do anything about it, Stan.
No, there have been cases whereby a new board has come in and the prior board was
more lenient.
Yeah, allowed violations, and they start enforcing, and they're in the right.
Yeah, I know they can. I know.
Yeah, so I don't think she's going
or a new one can be more lenient.
Yeah.
Or don't build it to code.
Yeah, that's true too, Kim. But if you don't build it to code, then you run in the risk of them asking you to tear it out.
And management companies are not the ones that approve it. The board is in the architectural committees, and we're back to the management company running the show.
I know. Yeah. Daniel, what's happening with you? What's going on, Daniel?
Is it me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm back. Yeah. So after this plum tree deal issue,
now, you're talking about the tree over. You're talking about the tree over the pool, right? Here's the deal.
It's over both of our pools.
Right.
No. Right.
But he wants it taken down. Did the HOA side with him?
Well, the HOA sent us a letter saying it was our second warning, which it was not.
Well, whether I'm not asking that. Did they?
Okay, hang on.
Whether it's a first or second warning, Daniel, I'm asking. So they did side with your neighbor?
Well, they're in bed together.
Hold on.
I don't think it matters if it's his tree over the neighbor's property. I mean, I don't even know why the HOA has anything to do with it.
Just hold on, because he's frustrated, and I don't blame him. I won't forget about you, Daniel. I promise you, I won't forget about you. I want to put out this number because it's very important. It's a very important number, and that is the Raleigh House. The Raleigh House is an addiction treatment center, and they have evidence-based treatment, 90-day programs that have been covered by insurances and have had a good success rate. But this number is not to try to convince you of that. The Raleigh House has a wonderful reputation and plenty of great reviews. This number is to help you with information. If you're an addict, you're welcome to call. But this is mostly for those who have addicts in their life. And they want to know, how do I get them into treatment? What's treatment all about? What are my options? What are the costs? What are the programs available? They will answer. The people from the Raleigh House, caring, loving individuals, experts, professionals, will answer all of your questions about this horrible disease. about prescription drugs, alcohol, hard, illegal drugs, or anything else that is being abused. And they will do it discreetly and confidentially with no obligation. Please put an end to this horrible disease that's ripping apart families and relationships. Don't expect it to get better or go away on its own. It just will not. 720-893-5559. I urge you to call 720-893-5559, theraleighouse.com.
From the L&L Heating and Air Conditioning Traffic Center.
The Highway Drive continues to be in really good shape across town.
What do you do if the tree? These are unsolvable situations.
No, if my tree is over your swimming pool and leaves are falling off, don't you have the right to cut those branches down? Simple as that.
There's another question. He's in an HOA. I don't know. We don't know much about this. Whose tree is it? The HOA's or his?
Well, he's saying it's his tree. It's on his property.
He planted it. Yeah. I'm just saying, some of these places, you know, the HOA does all the landscape.
Yeah, but he's talking a house. I mean, picture it in Highland Ranch. You know what I mean?
No, I understand what you're saying. But I agree with what you're saying. It's pretty simple.
But you can cut the branches down as long as it doesn't harm the tree.
That's not true.
Yes, yes it is.
What do you mean?
If you cut the branches so far back on yours that it harms the
He's on the other guy's property line.
But it's on his property.
I know, but I've
There's no way, Home Slice.
Yeah.
Look here, Pickle.
Don't ever call me Home Slice.
There's no way, man.
You're the guy with the phony assistant animal. You're telling us
your son. Your son.
Yeah. Consider a reverse mortgage for American financing.
No, there's no way, man. If that tree's on your property, you can cut it.
Your home. They also protect your spouse.
Let's say the whole tree is leaning this way on your property. I could cut the whole tree.
Your house is worth. Hey, it's Russ Kaminsky and
What do you mean, no?
What happens if you...
That's wrong!
No. If you had a cottonwood tree and it was blowing to the neighbor.
Yeah. That's an act of God. You mean, is it going over his property, though?
Yeah,
if it's not going over his property, there's no problem.
This one has an allergy to cotton. You know,
Christ, I live on 6 acres. Every neighbor I have, we're in a forest. I get their crap all the time. Could you imagine if I could make them cut down their trees? Well, that's what I'm saying. If it was on my property, though, I could.
If their trees were infringing on your property.
That's right. Yeah. Then you could definitely do it. You could cut them down.
You would think people could talk. This is the basic problem.
Yeah, I know. Or, hey, listen, that one time a year I'll come over and clean your pool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he's complaining about, is shit gets in the pool. But what the other guy's saying is the other guy has a tree that's not over his property, but the leaves still end up in his pool.
You live in a neighborhood. Some of this stuff is...
It's ruining his life. So according to Dan, I could go to someone's house who has an indoor pool and plant a tree, and he can't cut it down. See what happens when you argue with me? Now we're indoor pools.
Sean Hannity, Face the Truth, today at 1. You Republicans in Washington that broke your promises. This is the net result of it. On Denver's talk station, Truth, 630 KO.
Hi, Tom Martino, your troubleshooter, 303-713-TALK. Teresa, what? Hold on. Daniel, I didn't forget about you. So, about the tree, I just want to, Teresa, we'll try to get to you too. Daniel, if your tree, okay, is it hanging over that pool?
I'm not sure if it's bending. I'm not sure which way it's bending, depending on the wind.
Okay. If it's encroaching on a zero lot line, if it's encroaching over that line, then they are allowed to ask you to trim it back or to remove it.
Right.
So what's the argument?
The argument is that they are the president and secretary of the HOA. And when they sent me that letter and that photograph, I told the guy at the management company, I said, you clearly are calling the wrong person. He said, what do you mean? I said, there are palm trees laying on the roof of my house.
Okay. Daniel, we have two separate we have two separate issues. Okay? We have your tree and we have their tree. And you're trying to mix them up into one. They're not one problem.
It is. Well, it's a battle. That's what it is.
Well, I know it's a battle, but it's one that has to be fought one at a time. Go after their tree. That has nothing to do with your tree. It has nothing to do with it. If you want to go after them and their tree, you have to go after them and their tree for encroaching on your property. And then and then they go after you for the pool. That's the way it's done. You can't mingle them together. It sounds like it's just a retribution.
It's a neighbor war.
Yes, it is. It is a neighbor war.
And so what I'm saying is you have to fight go after their tree. But if yours is encroaching on their pool, they're allowed to fight it, even if they're the secretary and president. Yes, they are.
How much airspace do you own, though?
Well, what do you mean?
I mean anybody, not just him. I can't tell an airplane not to fly over my house.
Well,
I mean, it's not a... So.
Right.
I think it's something.
You got a 40-foot palm tree standing there, and it's like, well,
I
what
think,
do you want me to do?
Daniel, that's the thing, man. That's what I'm trying to get across with HOAs. That your property is subject to their whims and their laws and whatever it is. And it can make or break your property, its value. You may have to take out a 30-foot tree that's been there for years because they put a pool up. But they had a right to put a pool up on their land. And they have a right to ask you to cut back your tree, okay? And you have a right to ask them to cut back their tree. It's just the way it is. Travis has a comment on that deck and the landing that the county said she could have she has to have a 36 by 36, but that would encroach on HOA property. Go ahead, Travis.
Hi, Tom. Yeah, maybe she shouldn't look at the city code as an obstacle, or the building department, rather, because if she'll go down and talk to the city inspector, talk to the building department, ask them for a site visit, they'll give her a complimentary site visit, and then request a variance. And if it's not a huge safety issue,
okay, you know what?
Then the city will normally grant a variance on the code, and then
that's a Travis,
and she could do it with a smaller land.
That's a good idea. It really is. Teresa, what are your HOA problems?
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Hi. Good. What is the problem?
Well, I'm almost with Daniel. I live across the street from the president of the ACC.
And he is the Architectural Control Board. And what is he doing to you?
What isn't he doing to me? I had to call the sheriff's department. I thought he was starting to harass me.
God, this is amazing.
I have 6 letters in front of me. I've been in that home for a year.
6 letters. About what?
First, it was my orange Home Depot can that I use that was on the side of my house that he said somebody complained because they could see it from the road. Then it was my bricks that were on the side of the house because somebody could see it from the road.
Well, they're legit though, right?
Well, yeah, so I moved
But he's
them.
nitpicking.
But I walk my dog every night around the neighborhood. I started taking pictures. He has bricks on his side of the house.
Do me a favor, and here's what I want you to do. Please, send us the letters and then note to us with proof where they're doing the same thing. I will look into it, I promise you, okay? Really. Take pictures and send them to us along with your letters. I'm Troubleshooter Tom Martino. See ya.
Did you know that using TrueCar can also help you buy a...
The neighbor versus neighbor thing, if we wanted to start that thing.
We should come up with like a neighbor versus neighbor type thing, like a website or something.
No, so no, you're saying that I'm right on this, right?
Mark, let's start that. Let's start populating it. But before we do anything, we have to come up with a campaign today, and we have to figure out what we're doing. I think I have one, and I have it.
For many businesses, hiring is tough. But Mark, on this, you read it as I said, right?
What?
You
thank you again, Tom.
The right to expect that any maintenance
he does on his side of the fence does not damage or ultimately destroy trees.
And that's exactly what I said.
You're absolutely right. You also have the right to expect. Big deal. I have the right to expect I'll win the lottery.
What does that mean? Right to expect what?
What does that mean?
You can't cut
in a legal stance, what does that mean? You have the right.
I don't know. What are we talking about right now?
He's saying if his tree was coming over onto my yard,